10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Look at what in my opinion, one of the best goalkeepers right now.
We need you to think that you're going to be playing for games. So they want
I'm a little bit worried for tomorrow's game. I saw a stat online.
Sergio
As a big bit of a waste of time in the road.
He's going to play up and down. That is the second. We only have two men now in the
I know people have gone on about if we lose the cup, it could be a bit of a situation. I hope to God it
Sergio
doesn't.
Productions.
Alright people, welcome to the Blue Lounge, welcome to the channel. I hope you guys are having a good evening. I hope you guys are all relaxed, comfortable, cozy, keeping safe, keeping warm. Today is the match preview for Chelsea against Manchester City, or Manchester City against Chelsea, as they are the home team. We're going to be discussing the game. We're going to be discussing the tactics, the formations. We're going to be discussing the press conferences. Today, we're actually going to watch both Tuchel's press conference and Pep Guardiola's press conference to get a better understanding of what we can expect to see in respect to tactics, in respect to lineups, formations, and all that good stuff. We don't have many people watching the stream early doors. We've only got Abdul B in the chat. Abdul B, big up to you. He says, scary game tomorrow. Scary game tomorrow. It will be a scary game for Manchester City, as we have beaten them 3 times in the past 4 games. So I'll be scary for Manchester City. I know. I feel the same vibes, man. I know that's exactly what you're saying. It's going to be a scary game for Manchester City tomorrow. It must be. Chelsea beating Manchester City tomorrow would put the title race back on, lads. Chelsea beating Manchester City will put that title race back on for both Chelsea and for Liverpool. Liverpool still have a fixture to play with Manchester City. So let's see how it pans out, and let's see how the game goes. Today I have with me VJ, Couch Critic, Bobby Smoke Signals, Eric Blue, and Nick Blue, all in the stream. How are you guys? How you all doing this evening?
Yeah, fine, Mo.
All
Eric,
is well.
Bobby, Couch, VJ.
Yeah, good, Mo. Good.
Good. Good to see you all. Good to see you all. Nick and VJ are starting to become regulars. I just hope that Couch, Eric Blue, and Bobby don't tell them about the salary that I'm paying them, because they'll be asking for money in a minute. No, for real, it's good. It's good to have Nick and VJ on the streams on a regular basis. I'm enjoying their input, their insight, their feedback.
I follow VJ because he's my friend. I met him on Jem's channel, and everywhere he goes, I'll go with him.
Yeah. We may have a special piece of content that will be showing on this stream. VJ has a video coming out on his channel at 9:30 this evening. If we're still live by 9:30, we might actually share it live on the Blue Lounge to get the Blue Lounge viewers to also get access and get an understanding of the content that VJ is providing. So hopefully, if we're still live by 9:30, we might do that. We might give VJ a bit of promotion, a bit of marketing, a bit of exposure. Listen, Chelsea might not be, doing it for the little guy, But we try to help out everyone. And maybe Chelsea would one day look upon the Blue Lounge and decide, listen, the Blue Lounge, they have some good panels, they have some good debates. Let's give them some exposure. So you never know. If the Chelsea Football Club are watching, I doubt there's only 7 people watching at the moment. But if they ever get to see this video and decide to give us a shout, we're here, we're ready. We're keen. We're keen. All right, lads, I'm gonna start off by watching the press conferences. I want to start off by watching. Shall we start by watching Pep's? Pep. I think we'll start with watching Pep Guardiola's press conference before we go onto Tuchel, just to get an understanding of what the opposition are looking. All right, let's watch it from the Manchester City website. Give us a second, lads. I'm just loading it up. All right. So 10 people in the chat, welcome. Big up to you. If you could do us a favor, while you're getting yourself comfortable, hit that like button. And let's enjoy the stream together. So far, we have only 7 likes. It makes sense since we only have 10 people in. So there's 3 of you who haven't hit that like button yet. Do us a favor, smash that like button. And let's hear what Pep Guardiola had to say about the game tomorrow.
Rob Jones of Sky Sports. Hello, Rob.
Hello. Hi, Pep.
Hi.
Firstly, then, just a quick question on yourself and your own health and your family's health. Obviously, after isolating yourself, are you feeling okay?
Thank you. Yeah, we're okay. Thank you.
And from the perspective of the club, obviously 21 cases before that Swindon game. Are all staff back at work and are all the players that missed that FA Cup match now available for you for tomorrow?
No, some people is coming, some people is positive again. So, when you tested 1, twice negative, you come back. Otherwise, you stay at home isolated. So, like it happened in the last 2-3 months, I think all the clubs.
So those cases that you have at the moment, are they new cases, fresh cases from the ones that weren't able to play against Swindon?
We have some new cases, yeah.
And how many?
That want a privacy, so that's why I cannot tell you.
Can I ask from a manager's perspective how difficult and how different it is to try and prepare a team for a game or go through your usual week of work when you have to do it from home?
We are used, unfortunately, on the clubs to handling and dealing this situation for already a long time ago. So not just for that period, for this variant Omicron installed in our lives. So in the past years ago, 1 year, 2 seasons ago, it happened the same. So just adapt, and hopefully the cases can handle it softly and can come back, in a good conditions.
Even with so many cases for that FA Cup match, you still managed to get the game played. Do you get the sense that there is the same eagerness across all the teams in the Premier League to try and get the games played rather than to ask for postponements and get them called off?
It's a Premier League decision, so I'm not involved. Every club has. So I think the COVID is all around the world. It's not in this case there are more or less. So all around the world, the situation is there. In the next month, 2 months, 3 months will be there. Hopefully will decrease step by step. But it's not in this part of the world. There is not COVID. So this is not true.
Okay, Rob, thank you. We'll go to Simon Stone.
Hi, Pep. Do you feel as though you and Manchester City are managing this situation better than other clubs because you keep winning matches and nobody else can?
Are you saying that here in Manchester we are the smartest? The COVID, the Omicron doesn't like to come here to visit us?
No, not at all. I'm just saying you keep winning games.
We had a lot of cases and a lot of injuries. So we play in Aston Villa with 11 players in the first team. So in the last 4, 5, 6 games or 7 games, there are 4 or 5 players for the academy in the bench. So we are in the same situation as all other clubs in terms of injuries, in terms of injuries a bit less because our medical and physios department are exceptional, our physios, but in terms of COVID, we had a lot, like unfortunately all other clubs, because it's all around the world. It's not because here we are smarter or we are wiser or we do the protocols better than the other ones. When the virus come to the bubble, inside to the bubble, everyone suffers. So it's not an exception.
You're a very experienced football manager. You've won many, many trophies. Do you regard this period of your career as the most challenging, or do you get the most satisfaction from it because you've won trophies, you are still winning, you're still the best football club, and the world is a very different place?
Well, what we learn, all of us, is that before you try to plan a little bit the week or plan a little bit what is going to happen or going to do the next 2-3 days. What we learn in this situation is take a decision the day of the day or the day of the training sessions. And I would say 2 hours before the training session or even 4 or 5 hours before the game, because today we are okay. And in a few hours, maybe we are 4 or 5 positives. So that's why it's adapt, adjust, and what do you have to do? The rest, the points we have done so far this season and the previous season is, of course, the quality of the players. This is the only reason, important or main reason why.
Thank you, Simon. Next we'll go to Alex Alzili from PLP.
Hi, Pep. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Tuchel said today that he took the wrong approach in the reverse fixture, that they were too passive, they were too defensive. What are you expecting from Chelsea this time?
Sorry, said Alex, I didn't listen.
Thomas Tuchel spoke today. He said he took the wrong approach, that they were too passive, too defensive back at the Bridge in September. I just want to know what you're expecting from them this time.
Well, saying this quote, I can imagine what is going to happen tomorrow.
If you want to achieve better results, make a great impression, and save time at work, you should get great.
So he didn't like the way they play at home, so they're going to play differently way. So now I can imagine that is going to happen. But seeing Liverpool games or Tottenham, both games and the last games, I saw, of course, Chelsea completely different than they play in Stamford Bridge. That they played that Thomas said, but I don't know if the plan was like this or they could not do it differently because they could not do it. So I don't know. So, but listen this quote, so I know exactly. But presume the approach that Chelsea will have tomorrow at 12:30 in Etihad Stadium.
How highly do you rate Thomas Tuchel as a manager?
So creative. One of the few managers I learn constantly to develop a better manager on myself. Excellent in all departments. So I enjoy since was in Mainz and Borussia Dortmund here. Always I enjoy watching his teams and the way he's playing and the approach. I think he dignifies and he makes the whole football better. So when you find a manager like always, they want to be, positive in the way they play. Always is good.
Thank you, Alex. Mike Monet.
Hi, Pep. Good afternoon. A couple of questions, if I can. First of all, Raheem Sterling, Player of the Month for December. How much has he come on and what's he done to really find his form again in the last couple of months to hit the goals, find the assists?
It's a question for him. All the credit for him.
What have you noticed within him, though?
Here.
Simple as that?
Absolutely.
The last time you played Chelsea, you had PSG and Liverpool all in the week, and back then you said that your side was playing the best they'd ever played under you. Have they developed even further since then? Have they got even better?
Michael, football is every day. I would say the last 2 games was not the best games we have played. I would say the wrong games we have played in the last month or 2 months. So football is constant evolution. And you have periods that you are playing good, but the key is to sustain that for a long time as possible. And this is what we have to do. And tomorrow we know the test that we have ahead of us. So it's the champion of Europe, European champion. So an excellent team in all departments, in the way they play, experienced teams, personality. And but it's another test, another game to try to win, to make 3 more points and come back in our best way.
Thank you, Mike. Stuart Brennan. Stuart, you're on mute, mate.
He's not on mute. I think he's got an issue with the audio.
You've got an issue with the audio then. We'll go to Michael Gray in the meantime.
Hi, Pep.
Hi.
Pep, in recent games, you've given younger players the opportunity in Cole Palmer and James McAtee. Is that something that satisfies you just as much as bringing in a signing for, let's say, 50 or 60 million pounds?
It's a question of patience. So not all the academy players can play with us. Some of them they can play. They play in a cup. Cole because it's more settled right now, but James McAtee can play as well. So we know them, and there is 1 or 2 more players that had the feeling that they can help us and they can be involved in the future. But they have to be patient, and still there are a lot of paths, big road to follow to become a settled and officially a player like a big chance to be with us.
Thanks, Pep.
Thank you, Michael. Stuart, do you want to try again? See if we can hear you. No.
Can you hear me? No.
Oh, we can.
No.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Oh, you can. Oh, hi. Yeah, Mike touched on what I was going to ask earlier about the game at Stamford Bridge. I was looking at the stats. You had 60% possession against a very good team. They had no shots on target. How close to your version of perfection was that performance? And do you think that you've got better since that performance?
Well, first of all, was a month ago. Second is every game is completely different. Of course, the performance was really good because minimizing the champion of Europe and what they have done when they were all players fit and all players were there. So it was really exceptional. But in that moment, we were below them. We know the difficulty. We didn't get, you would not have get points that when we played in Stamford Bridge, and our commitment and our with the ball and without the ball was exceptional. So that's why we won. Unfortunately, with a short margin, we could score much more because we have 1 against 1 without keeper to score more goals. But the victory was nice. But tomorrow will be completely different because we learn from that. Still, we can do better things, especially in attack. And of course, they will change, like Chelsea manager said. They're going to change approach, and they know they have to get points to be still there.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stuart.
All right, interesting press conference for quite a few reasons. There was a lot of focus on the COVID situation within the City camp. We all know that Pep recently recovered from COVID, but it looks like he's still not 100%. He's still coughing. He's still he's still suffering. So I hope he makes a full recovery, and testing negative from COVID doesn't mean that you've recovered from it. It means the virus is no longer in your system, but the effects of the virus could still be lingering for quite some time. And I hope that Pep Guardiola can overcome all the effects of the virus. So I hope he gets well soon. In respect to the press conference and what relates to the Chelsea game, there wasn't really much. There was a little bit of talk about the previous fixture, and a bit of talk about him and his respect for Tuchel. I've not seen a Man City press conference for quite some time, but didn't really pick up much on that. I mean, we don't know who's available, who's not available. I want to get your take on this, lads. Before we jump in, I want to say a big up to MDT who joined us during the press conference. MDT, welcome to the stream, my man.
Thank you for having me on. How is yourself and the family? Hope everybody's okay.
Good. Alhamdulillah, everyone's good. Everyone's good. You know, everyone's good. Everyone's good. Big up to you, MDT. Big up to you, and big up to everyone on the panel. And big up to everybody in the chat. We've had a few people jump on since we started watching the press conference. Big up to Tyrone. Big up to Hockey. Big up to MCIG. Bobby Fairview. Big up to you. Have I missed anyone? Let me have a look. Marcio. Big up to you. Showtime. CC. Big up to everyone. Big up to everybody in the chat. Lads, I'm not gonna keep on reminding you. Smash that like button. Let's get as many likes as we can on the stream. Lads, you're gonna hit the like button. You might as well hit it early doors because it will promote the stream. It will get it viewed by more people as YouTube algorithm starts to recommend it. So do us a favor and hit that like button early doors to get the best effect from your liking the stream. All right. Whoever wants to jump in first, go ahead. Tell me what you got from that press conference.
Okay, I'll go then.
Yeah.
Go on, Nick. Go on.
It's all right. It's all right. Yeah, all right, I'll go then. Yeah. What we got was the same from Tuchel. We're both saying the same things about each other. They respect each other, you know. It's good. We know he's going to say that anyway, but he does respect Tuchel. He knows he's a great manager, like Pep is himself. We didn't get much news on any team from his team. His team is going to look like. But I think they're going to have a strong team out there. Whatever team they put out is going to be strong. I can't make much on the press conference, so not much at all. Myself.
VJ?
I understand from the tactical point of view, there was nothing, actually in the conference. But one thing that I'd like to say is the kind of respect that he shows for Thomas Tuchel. And I believe a part of his success is also attributed to that factor because he respects his opponent. He knows what they're doing and he tries to recognize their impact on their club as well. And if you also noticed, he was actually talking about our game against Tottenham and the previous game as well. So he's been, continuously watching us, and he's aware of the situation that is going on in Chelsea, and that's probably the reason why he is very successful as well. So I respect Pep as a manager, and it's going to be a very, very good game. Of course, he's not completely recovered from the disease. That's a worrying sign. Hopefully, he does as quick as possible. But in terms of tactics, I don't think so. A lot were actually discussed in terms of player availabilities and stuff. But it is going to be an interesting game, and he seems to be ready for that. And he also, in one particular instance, he was talking about when, I guess it was Alex who asked that question when she immediately posed the question saying that Tuchel said he played a different way and he did not like the way that he played. So Pep recognized, he realized, okay, fine, this time they're going to come at us differently and we have to be ready about it. And he also acknowledged the fact that there's going to be a different tactics that might be employed by Thomas Tuchel, and he has to be ready for it. So I like the way, tactically this battle is going to be exciting. And we are lucky to actually witness this sort of battle in the Premier League every single season. That 2 games or 3 games. It is exciting, and it's exciting time for Premier League and City and Chelsea.
Yeah, no, it's definitely an interesting spin on the tactical aspect, because Pep Guardiola was outsmarted tactically 3 times by Tuchel last season. And he started the season by him doing the same thing to Tuchel in the first fixture. And interestingly, Tuchel also discusses this in his press conference. So if anybody wants to add anything, I'll let Eric jump in, and then we'll go into the Tuchel press conference, because that is a significant point in both press conferences. Let me hear Eric's point of view.
Yeah, just to add, I think it was interesting how he mentioned that he couldn't say names. He said it was private. The players didn't want their names to be mentioned, I guess. So that's an interesting thing. I'm not sure if there's any kind of protocol surrounding whether it's an issue for players' names to be mentioned. I don't really see the big deal, but I guess that's why people's names don't get mentioned when they talk about the different cases. And
although Christensen's did get mentioned today.
Yeah. He also talks about how they're in the same position as everybody else with regards to the injuries and the virus. I don't think that's correct, to be fair. That's not true, is it? But yeah, that's all. I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, no, I think there might be team protocol or team restrictions that is normally imposed by the manager himself in respect to what kind of information he wants to be made available. And I think Pep is restricting that. I think Klopp restricting that. So some managers do that. We don't. For whatever reason. I mean, Tuchel, he will tell you straight to your face, I've got X player out for this reason, X player out for that reason, as we're going to see in our press conference. So let's jump in and have a look at the Tuchel press conference. I'll just bring it up on the screen. Here we go. All right, let's jump in.
What's the physio? Can I just start off with the injury latest? What's the physio bench looking like at the moment?
No news, which may be good news, but Trevor will be out, Ben Chilwell will be out, Reece James out. That's from the injuries, and we have one positive COVID test with Andreas Christensen, so out for the game.
I'm going to throw a lot of names at you here, please, in advance.
No problem.
But in terms of players out on loan at the moment, Kennedy is back.
Yeah.
Palmieri's not back yet.
No.
Will there be any need to recall Gilmore, Gallagher, Broca? And in terms of going out on loan, is there any possibility maybe that Ruben Loftus-Cheek goes on loan to get more game time?
Haven't talked about it. He has a lot of game time, I would say, if we look at the last years and look at this season. I think he has a lot of game time, and he has a lot to fight for here when we talk about Ruben and my personal opinion. But anyway, this will happen behind closed doors. When we have something to announce, we will announce about bringing players back. It's not only about the need to bring players back, but also about the possibility. We sent them on loan to have a full season. We sent them on loan to have a full year. They have a certain role in their clubs, so it's not only about bring them back, and we don't have the possibility also to decide it all alone if we bring players back. And Kennedy is back, and I'm very happy about it. So it's maybe it is a huge opportunity for him to make his mark at this club and in this team. We will try now from today on to push and support him as good as we can.
Is there a need this month to still bring in players, especially at wing back, or is Kennedy that covered now?
No, we cannot say that Kennedy is the solution. He can be a solution, but the situation has not changed. We have long-term injuries on the wing backs, and we suffer a lot now. We suffered a lot in midfield from COVID and injuries. Now that our midfielders are more or less coming back, we suffer a lot with our central defenders. nothing has changed, but it needs to make sense. It needs to be possible. It needs to make sense on a high level, and also in quality, personality. We have a look into the market. Nothing has changed, and we have all options. Also the option to say no.
In terms of tomorrow's game, Manchester City are just relentless. They just keep on winning. It's hard to see where they're going to drop points. If you lose tomorrow, are your title chances gone?
Maybe, who knows? The biggest difference so far in the season, as I'm concerned, is that they dealt better with injuries and they dealt better with the COVID situation. Maybe it's unlucky, maybe they do it better, whatever, but they have less injuries from key players, less days out, less weeks where they missed them. They did not suffer from COVID as we did over many weeks. So this is the huge difference, because we had some draws in the season that were unnecessary, and if you have your full squad, you create a certain atmosphere for everybody that pushes everybody to the edge, and you need to be on your edge and in your very highest level if you want to compete with Man City. They are the benchmark. They are the best team in England right now. This is something we have to admit realistically. We don't think a lot in scenarios. What happens if? Let's play the game. I'm always in for a good fight, but I'm also always very realistic. If you look back and then to our last games, when we have our squad, when we feel good, when we're in good shape, we are always up for a good fight with Man City, and we will always dare to push them to the limit and to ask some questions that they don't like maybe to answer. But situation at the moment is that, as you said, they are very strong, they're very consistent, and they perform on the absolute highest level. So this is it. From here we go.
Yeah, just one final question from me, Thomas. A more general question. Leicester had a game postponed this week, primarily through injuries and players being at AFCON. There's talk potentially of Arsenal trying to get the North London derby postponed, primarily because of injuries and players at AFCON. Do you think that the rules are being abused or bent slightly at the moment? Because the rules are surely in place for COVID situations, not for injuries. That's just hard luck.
I strongly hope that's not the case, because otherwise I would be very, very angry, because we are doing everything to make games happen, and we were made to play when we thought we should maybe not. So I can only strongly hope that the rules are the same rules for everybody. Otherwise, yeah, point.
John South from 5 O'clock.
Hi Thomas, how are you?
Hi, fine.
Good. Would you say Manchester City away is the toughest challenge at the moment in European football? And why?
Yeah, maybe. They are the strongest team in UK. I think that we have the Premier League is the toughest league in Europe, the toughest competition, and they are like on a level of consistency and quality and producing results even when it's getting close, like in the game at Arsenal, for example, turning things around. They are very, very strong. It's a very tough one, yeah.
How much do you enjoy coming up against Pep? You've got the better of him on a number of occasions since you've been at Chelsea. But is he still the benchmark for managers for what he's achieved in the game?
Yeah, simple. Short question, short answer. Yes, for me, yes. Everybody can have his own opinion, but look at his records, his track records. Look what he did to all his teams in Barcelona, Munich, and Man City. Look what he did to the clubs, and yeah.
Do you learn from him still?
Top. Every game, I try to learn from everybody, from every opponent, and from analyzing every opponent, and have a lot of respect for of course, for Pep. Everybody knows that, but for a lot of other coaches, yeah, I learn from him. I learn from everybody. I learn from the game, from my players. This is what I demand from myself.
You said the main difference this season between the two clubs has been the injuries and COVID. So do you think when you're both at full strength that you've actually really closed that gap now. How much is there between the clubs?
You know, they opened the gap not over the last months. They opened the gap over the last years, and I was never shy to say this, and it's just my opinion. And we tried to close it, and we tried to close it. We were like self-confident enough to say we will try to close it from the first day this season. This is what we did, and we did very good. But don't get me wrong, I want to be very clear about it. I will be absolutely happy with the players who travel with us and who will be on the pitch tomorrow. And we will inject the most confidence that we can have. We will come up with a plan, and we will push and help and support in the best way with genuine belief. But a team is a different team if everybody is available. It's as simple as that. If you have your 2019 player from 23 always and constantly available, because you always some injuries, some minor injuries, but if you have them, this creates the energy, the atmosphere, and the extra edge that you need if you want to be on the level where Man City is. And we don't have it. It's no excuse. It's just a description and an explanation of the situation in which we find ourselves since the last weeks. We will not stop.
How tough does that make it tomorrow?
Very tough, even tougher. But does it make it impossible? No, it's football. It's 90 minutes. So for 90 minutes, you can do anything. Anything. You can be brave. You can play with courage. You need a bit of luck, and you need a momentum, and we need on top level. No problem for tomorrow. But in general, it's like this.
Good luck.
Thanks.
James Finch, TalkSport. Hi Thomas, what did you learn from the game against Man City at Stamford Bridge earlier this season?
That my approach was the wrong approach tactically. It made us too passive. We could have done better, but I think the approach was too passive and too defensive. It was not meant like this, but it turned out this way. So lesson learned. They were like too aggressive for our build-up play. They were too aggressive. We did not have the solution to escape from their own half. We defended very well in the last 18-20 meters of the field, but we didn't see much of the other 70 meters. Second half was a bit better. It was a bit wild, but it's not the worst thing to have a wild match against Manchester City, and to break out of all the structure and all the controlled situations. So second half was better, and yeah, lesson learned.
When it comes to Man City, you spoke about how they've opened up the gap over the last few years.
Yeah.
But do you see the gap between Man City and Chelsea being a significant one?
Yeah, in the moment it's a significant one. If you look at the table and the points and the consistency, it's a significant one, and we have to prove, we have to prove ourselves that we can step up and close it day in, day out. But we have trust in what we do, and we have trust in our players, and trust in the mentality of our club that we can do it. We have a strong squad. We have belief in what we do, so we will be there. We will be there. But the situation is very particular in which we are trying to do it. As you know, talked many times about the reasons, and without using this as an excuse, it describes the situation, and it is an explanation, and you cannot just look away from it.
You've got 3 wins in a row now, the draw against Liverpool at the start of the year. Do you feel like, with a lot of players returning, the form improving, that you're nearing your highest level?
Yeah, because with every player that we get back experience and alternatives and belief and self-confidence, and we had good results and good performances in the last games, but we are not really, it does not feel like it. From outside it feels like it. We have N'Golo on the bench and available, even playing in the last match. We had Thiago Silva, and of course it is Thiago Silva and it is N'Golo, but they came with they joined the group with 1 training session. This is a little bit the problem, we have a good squad with a fantastic mentality, and still once you're in training you're in the squad, and we need a bit more of a fight. We need a bit more of a fight to bring out the extra edge. It's like This is what we're missing, not in a bad way, not at all, but it's not enough to find maybe even our 100%. We need to overperform to catch City, to be on top of Premier League. We need to overperform, and to overperform, you need simply everybody. That's why, of course, since week we're hoping to get players back. So if you have the news like yesterday evening that Andreas is again out after we waited so long now for him for injury, now he plays so strong, one of the best players on the pitch, and again he's out. It's a bit what is it, a knockdown, or it's a bit of a setback for everybody, also mentally, because you finally have players back, and it's just like catching a fish.
Okay, last question in the broadcast section. Paul Belton.
Thank you very much. Thomas, Pep Guardiola can often spring a surprise with a team selection or formation in the biggest games. And I wonder how much you try to second guess what he might do, or perhaps more, how much you're able and try to tweak things in the hour between getting the team sheets and the game kicking off.
To be honest, I don't expect nothing special tomorrow, because it's a league game. It's not a knockout game. They are comfortable ahead, so I think they will try to be the best version of themselves. And I expect no tactical, nothing new. Just the best of City, and it's enough to deal with.
All right. I'm gonna give everyone a couple of minutes to give me their insight and their input on both press conferences. We've seen them both now. I want to hear what you guys have to say in respect to both press conferences and the things that you've picked up on. So let me just change the screen. So we'll go to the screen, take off the banner. All right, we'll start with VJ. VJ, take it away, mate.
Two different types of managers in the way that they're approaching solutions and games. I respect both of them for the work that they put in. Of course, Thomas Tuchel is also hinting on the fact that he didn't have that sort of a year that Pep had in his Manchester City days. So yeah, he is aware of that fact, and he also talks about Kennedy possibly could be a replacement, but not necessarily. So they're actually still looking for that option. So that is a good thing for us Chelsea fans to hear. It isn't like where we got Kennedy and then the board has decided, okay, fine, we're not going to do business anymore. We've got a player. I guess from what Thomas Tuchel is saying, that's not the case. We're still looking for options, but then Kennedy has been recalled as a contingency is what I feel. So that's a good thing to hear from Thomas Tuchel in today's conference. Of course, Christensen's positive case, not a good sign. Hopefully he recovers as quick as possible. And I think we are slowly recovering from that injury and the disease phase, and then we're starting to have players available for the game. And City is one of these games that have come in the recovering phase for us, is what I believe. And this as well is going to be a really good game for Chelsea Football Club. At the same time, I respect Pep, and if at all he outsmarts Thomas Tuchel tomorrow, then obviously we have to worry about it. But at the same time, it doesn't take away any respect that I have for Thomas Tuchel as a coach. And it's just on that particular day whose football is better, they're going to win the game. But it's going to be a very close encounter. I'm excited for the game. Mo, you're muted.
Sorry about that. What is the reason you think we recalled Kennedy based on what you've heard from Tuchel? Is it to be part of the team, or is it to loan him out again? Because it's conflicting reports now.
Yeah, definitely. There were conflicting reports. Initially, they were said that Kennedy was going to be the replacement, and then people also said that Kennedy has come out because the loan in Brazil did not work out well, so he's going to go on a different loan. So there were different communications. But then I think from what Thomas Tuchel right now says, we can probably consider this aspect of it. Right, he is probably brought in as a contingency. for the left wing back situation. If we don't have anyone that we are able to sign in the window, then we probably have to train him. And Thomas Tuchel is going to be looking into his improvement very closely in the last 15, 20 days, in the next 15, 20 days. And I think he's brought in as a contingency option, if I'm to be honest with you. And we're still going to be looking in the market for options. If not possible, then we might have to continue with this guy, Kennedy. Or else, if we bring in a new player, then probably Kennedy might go on a loan during the end of the transfer window.
All right. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of comments here, about Kennedy being wanted by Tuchel. Kennedy is a good left mid. Kennedy is a good player. He's a good player, and it depends on what Tuchel decides to do and how he wants to employ him. VJ, thank you for your insight. Before I bring the couch critic in, I want to ask you guys: is the audio clear? Is there any interference? Is there any echoing? Let me know in the chat if you guys are hearing anything. Couch, what's your insight? What's your take on the on this press conferences that you've just heard?
Yeah, big up, fellas.
Big up.
VJ, good insight there for sure. A lot of what you said, I definitely picked up on as well. I also think that one of the things that we need to look at is just the approach. I think Pep is in a position where he doesn't necessarily have to variate what he does. They don't really change the way they play. You know exactly what you're going to get from them. With Tuchel, I think Tuchel has shown that he's the type of manager that's a tactician. He tries to find solutions for games. And, you'll see variations of shapes. You'll see variations of players in weird positions. And I don't think that this game's going to be any different. I think likely what he's alluding to also in the press conference is the fact that this City team is not. We're still very much in our infancy, and like as much as we won the Champions League, the evolution of this team is really just very much in its like second year, maybe second year. Whereas with Pep, he's been there for 4, 5, 6 years, and the squad that he's assembled is very much within his image, very much so. I don't think you can say the same about Tuchel, and I think that he's recognized that he's trying to shrink the gap a bit, but with a squad that is not necessarily his right now. And I don't want to keep harping on this, but I don't like the fact that Man City is the benchmark. They should not be the benchmark for what a Premier League team looks like, mainly due to the fact that they've broken financial fair play a couple times to assemble that team, and got slaps on the wrist. So the players that they have on that team, the depth that they possess, is more due to the fact that they've broken the rules a couple times in order to achieve this. So we can't look at them as being like the benchmark for a team that we're trying to aspire to be. We just got to be the best Chelsea we can be within the rules and the guidelines. And I think that Tuchel's well on his way doing that. With regards to the game on Saturday, early kickoff, I do think that there is an opportunity for Thomas Tuchel to spring another surprise on Pep. But Pep did hint to the fact that he's been watching our last few matches, as I would expect him to do. But the fact that we have the ability to disguise our shape, like whether it be a 3-5-2 or a 4-2 or 4-box-2 or whatever you want to call it, I think that will give Pep some problems. And I think that just figuring out what we're doing is going to be not as easy as it was the last game. But having said that, when you're dealing with a team of Man City's caliber, it's more about what they're not really going to be worried too much about what we do. They're going to be worried about what they do. So we're going to have to be cognizant of them. And I think this 4-2-2 could be something that we can use going forward to just give them something different to think about, like more attackers on the pitch, just fight fire with fire. And I think that the other thing that Tuchel mentioned that stuck out for me is the fact that he said the second half when we played them at the Bridge, there was a bit of chaos in the second half. And he also said that that's not necessarily a bad thing. And I actually agree with that. If you have an up and down match with a Pep team, you stand a better chance of winning than, being hemmed in your half and trying to break them on a counter and trying to be really efficient on the 1 and 2 opportunities that you get. Like, I think if we open the game up a little bit more, and use our attacking players in the right way, I think we might stand a better chance of like surprising them and giving them something else to think about. Not many teams can do that with them in the attacking areas. I think that we can if we just play more brave as opposed to, what would be the word? Pragmatic.
Within ourselves. If we played a little bit more extra what's the word?
Extravagantly.
Extravagantly. Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely think we will see something different. Tuchel, his system has been found out by Pep. His 3-4-3, his 3-4, his 3-5-1-2. I can definitely see Tuchel addressing a different or using a different formation, different system to play Man City tomorrow. But depending on availability and player availability, he will be restricted to a certain degree. I think he might not be restricted. I think he'll be forced to play a certain setup or a certain formation because of the lack of defenders that are available to him. Couch, thank you for your insight. We will. Yeah. We'll address most of these points when we do the lineups. I think looking at what you guys have chosen, it's gonna be quite interesting. Let's hear from Bobby. Bobby, Smoke Signals. Give me your take on Pep Guardiola and Thomas Tuchel's presses, mate.
Yeah, Mo. Sorry, I was having a dual conversation. Listen, I've listened to both press conferences. I find Guardiola's conference was disappointing, to say the least. It was really disappointing. I felt, there are things he's hiding. It's quite clear that there are some entities now playing advantages with the tragedy of the COVID situation. But it is what it is. I listened to a certain point, heard some of the pointless questions. He never gave any sensible information in that press conference, and I switched off. I was far more interested in Tuchel's. Now, Tuchel's was interesting, particularly what he said about Kennedy. I think, I went on an earlier stream with Jem, and there were some people saying, Kennedy is dead, he's done. I don't think so. If we can see what Tuchel has done with Malang Sarr and see what he's done even with Saul, although there's still more work to be done there, I think there's something he can do with Kennedy. Kennedy's not a bad player. He just had some discipline issues, some attitude issues, and he was frozen out. And just as Tuchel said, this is a massive opportunity for him to come back and get himself in the reckoning. And this is how these things happen in football. We wanted Emerson. Leon closed the door on that. And he was the only option available. Lucas Ding wanted 115,000 a week, which at this point in time would not help our cause. We're still in deep contract negotiations. And clearly part of that negotiation is a haggle over money. To bring someone like Lucas Dean to be on 115 at the off would not have been wise. So I've been a strong critic of the board, but in that instance, I side them.
That's a great point, Bobby. I just had to interject. That is a great point that I never thought of. Thanks for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, the Emerson issue, I was unhappy that we'd have to pay money at all for our own player, but it is what it is. I like to point things out for the purpose of learning, not for the purpose of spitting my dummy out. When something's wrong, I want us to acknowledge it and understand that we've got to find a way to fix it and make sure it doesn't happen again. And the Emerson case is one of those things. But fortunately, we are rich enough in players on loan to call back people like Emerson. Kennedy. I think there'll be some work to be done on him. I'm not sure his fitness will be great. And the whole, after basking in the sun in Brazil, coming to the cold weather we've got here to start kicking the ball around. It's going to take him some time. But I see hope there. I think, as I said on Gem's stream, I think, this is a must-win for us. And I think if we play our game, I think Tuchel really, really believes we can turn these people over tomorrow. That's just my take on the whole thing.
Yeah, big up to Julius. He just sent in a super chat. He says, big up Mo, VJ, Bobby, the legend, Dennis, MDT, and Nick Blue. Yeah, you forgot about Eric.
Couch happened to you yesterday, man. We missed
Couch.
you.
Couch has been away, man. Family.
Okay.
Yeah,
family
it's actually still ongoing, but I'm trying to do it right now.
we could hear it in the background, man. We can hear it.
Totally.
Julius says the main conclusion from TT's conference is that he is going for the league and did not give up, regardless of what we expect. I think we should believe. Yeah, no. The question was to Tuchel, if you lose the game tomorrow, would that mean the title race is over? Would you guys be out of the title race? And he said no, even if we were to lose. So imagine if we were to win. So yeah, stay positive. Julius, thank you for the super chat. Bobby, thanks for your insight. Let's bring in Eric Blue, the person who is not mentioned in the super chat by Julius. Go on, Eric. Let's hear it.
Yeah, I'm sure he just forgot. Yeah, he just forgot.
No. He sent another one just for you.
Oh, thank you. Thanks so much. We're gonna be splitting I'm gonna split it with Kasim. No.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, look, it was a good press conference. Not much to talk about. I think Tuchel was very. He didn't pretend. He was very frank with what he was saying. He didn't try to make it look like we are, in a better position than we're in. The fact that we have to overachieve, it's very reasonable to say that because we are so far behind. So he said a lot of things that maybe some people might not like, but I think I like his honesty. And for sure, I know he has a game plan. He has an idea of what he wants to do. And I expect us to play differently. And this is the kind of match that I was waiting for because it's all well and good, playing against the smaller teams. Because obviously we changed the way we play. But against, a team like City, we need to be really good. So I wonder how the formation will look, the system will look against a team like Man City. So I'm very much looking forward to how the team plays. And for me, that's the main thing. We need to, I think Bobby said the last stream that it's a must win. For sure, I completely understand. I understand that sentiment, even though it's difficult to say it's a must-win because of the position City are in. But I think, to be fair, City have been struggling in the most recent matches. So I think that we have a good chance to beat them and finally end their win streak because eventually they'll lose, but hopefully they start losing against us. So, yeah.
All right. Yeah. No. I think it's a cup final tomorrow. Tomorrow is a cup final. That's the best way to approach it. I think for Chelsea's perspective, it's a game we have to win. For Man City, it's a game that they don't want to lose. And if we are able to achieve that, I think the title race is definitely back on. Definitely a tough forward to win it. But I think hope will still be there. Losing the game, I think it's pretty much over. I know mathematically it's not. I know there's still a lot of games, but I think if we were to lose the game tomorrow, it would be virtually impossible. But we will see. We will see what happens. Early kickoff. We will be discussing that game straight after it finishes here on the Blue Lounge. Let me hear from MDT. MDT, 2 press conferences, Pep Guardiola, Thomas Tuchel. What do you make of them?
Yeah, so just before I go into the press conference, Bobby, I just want to tell you that Luka Dean was on 120 a week at Everton. The new Aston Villa contract is over 8 million a season, which work out as 160 plus a week. You see,
Very
he was
good.
he's earning more than even Rudiger, what we offer Rudiger or Christensen. He was gonna earn more than even some of our top earners if we come in. So we don't have that kind of money. People can say whatever they want, but we don't. So bringing Kennedy financially make more sense. And I don't see us even signing any player for this whatever. It's either gonna be a cheap loan or the recall we put out for the loan players. If the clubs can accept it, we bring them back. If not, it's gonna be very difficult for us to spend money this winter. And moving towards the press conference, I'm gonna start with Pep first. I think Tuchel was caught off guard the last time we played him. The newspapers report and everything, even Pep Guardiola lied. They told us they have injuries, 5 or 6 injuries. Laporte wasn't meant to play. Kyle Walker wasn't meant to play. De Bruyne wasn't meant to play. About 5 of their players were not supposed to play that game. And what happened? The match day, they were all in the starting 11. I think we were caught off guard the last time we played them. And you remember Kante? Just after that game, we found out he was positive from the virus. He was lethargic that game. So I think Tuchel learned a lesson. The as much as we can said like how do I call it, the formation was wrong. I don't believe the formation was wrong. I believe that the players they lack energy. That was it.
And we lost Reece James too, like right at the beginning of the game.
Thank you very much. Exactly. In the first 10-15 minutes, Reece James was out, and Thiago Silva was not even 50% fit.
27 minutes.
Yeah, Thiago Silva wasn't even fit to play that game. He was on the bench. We end up putting him in the game, isn't it? So there are circumstances surrounding that game. So so for me, I'm not judging that game. That game is in isolation. There are things that didn't go our way or things that we didn't expect. So I believe Pep Guardiola is hiding something because of he lost 3 times to Tuchel last season. I don't trust anything he said on press conferences. He kept things about even the COVID thing. I don't believe anything. It could be even staff that are out, but City will say it. They have COVID cases. If they mention that, everybody will think it's players. It might be staff. I don't believe anything they said. With Tuchel, for me, I think Tuchel is too honest when it comes to press conference. I believe he shouldn't even that mention Christensen is out, because the problem with that is we only have one defender on the bench, Malan Sarr. That's it. We don't have any more defenders. So Pep will obviously know now we will be playing 4 at the back. So sometimes he's too honest with these situations. So for me, that's my.
Tuchel knows that the Blue Lounge wants people to do a predicted lineup, and he's trying to make it easy for us. So he's telling us, don't put Christensen in your lineup because he's not available.
No, for me that was the first. I was frustrated as soon as he mentioned it. I was like, you just give your team news. You just give your team news to Pep Guardiola. That's it. He knows the defenders that we're gonna play. Okay, the midfield, he might guess that, but the defense, obviously, we all know who is available. So for me, that's the disappointing thing about Tuchel. He's too honest when it comes to press conference. Press conference is where you play your chess, not checkers, because that's where you use the mind game start. But he doesn't play mind game, which I like. But sometimes in this case with Pep, I don't like, because Pep is already playing mind games. So, you remember when that Brentford manager played mind games? And Tuchel played mind games with him as well. So these are the things where you have to do that. And when it comes to the Kennedy thing, well, I said this the last stream. Kennedy has been brought in early to get him ready. If on the 31st, we cannot sort out the MSN thing, Kennedy is staying. Is to get Kennedy ready to stay. That's the target now. If we get somebody in, yeah, he can leave on the 31st. But until then, as far as Chelsea are concerned, Kennedy is staying. Is staying to be a cover. If situation change, yes. But that's the purpose of bringing him, because we don't have anybody with his experience to cover for that position. We don't. So, all in all, I think I just feel like he's too honest. I think sometimes just keep your card close to your chest. And he sounds very confident that he have plan. Tomorrow we'll be able to match them. And he realized that the last games that we lost against them, there are things that he could have tweaked or whatever. And I'm hopeful, and I know he knows what he's doing. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm not. To be honest, I'm not scared or worried or anything. I'm a calm person. So what would be. But I believe Tuchel will have a solution in mind. But he just have to be. He's too honest more for me. He's too honest.
Yeah.
Sometimes keep your
Yeah.
card close to the chest.
Yeah. Play a bit of poker, play a bit of chess. He's playing snakes and ladders all the time. All right, let's get in Nick Blue. Nick Blue, give me your insight and your take on both press conferences. We heard your perspective in regards to Pep Guardiola's. Give me your insight and thoughts on Tuchel's press conference.
Tuchel. Yeah, like I said, with Pep, he doesn't say much. Nothing at all, really. Didn't mention anything except give praise to Tuchel. So,
true.
Yeah, I was impressed with Tuchel, as always. In the way he talks it straight. I love the way he talks. I know MDT said he shouldn't be saying about Christensen, but they would have found out anyway. These things they can find out who's got COVID or not. So that's not a big thing anyway. But what he's saying, the last game he admitted it was his fault. We wasn't up for it. He admitted he got it wrong. But this time I think you can see it in his eyes. He's up for it. And I think we're gonna come out and go for them like they think they're gonna come out and go for us. We're gonna do the opposite and do the same to them, what they did to us at Stamford Bridge. And if we play like, again, like with the 10 men against Liverpool, and the Liverpool, when we come back from 2-0, we can beat them. They've been very lucky City lately. They just about beat Arsenal, and Arsenal were the better team by miles. And before that, they won 1-0 twice, I think. Just about won them games. So it's the best day to beat City tomorrow. And about Kennedy, I agree. Like we said before, and like Tuchel confirmed it, he's here to be a cover-up, but it's up to him to prove he can get in the first team. And Tuchel's good at making these young players good, like he done with Sarr and a lot of the other youngsters. So he's here, but we're still looking. He said we're still looking in the transfer market. But it depends what's available and if it's worth it. And if we don't get anyone, I think Kennedy will be a decent cover for Alonso. But looking at it tomorrow, it's a big game. If we win, we'll be 7 points behind, and the league is right on again. So imagine that. But we have to win. We have to win tomorrow. I think we will have I have a feeling all week we're going to win this game. So I think it's going to be a very close game, but we might just win it by 1-0.
I'm confident. I'm confident that we will get a good result. We'll get a result tomorrow. I think we've had a good few wins. 3 back-to-back wins in the cup. So our tails are up. Confidence is high, and I think we can expect Chelsea to do something tomorrow. I'm gonna move on to the lineups, the predicted lineups. The first one we're gonna look at is Couch Critic. To be fair, this is a lineup that has, or this is a formation that seems to be the go-to formation for Tuchel recently, the 4-2-2-2 formation. Couch has Kepa in goal with Rudiger and Silva in the heart of the defense. They are the only two defenders currently available, with Malang Sarr. Right back is Azpilicueta. Left back is Alonso, with Callum and Pulisic on the wing, Kante and Kovačić in the centre, Havertz and Lukaku as our two strikers. Couch, give me your thinking behind this.
Yeah, sorry about
Couch.
that. Just I'm running around here, but
No
yeah,
worries.
I think this is the wild card that I was talking about in the pre-match. I think we can spring on them. Just a little bit more attacking intent. I think the presence of Jorginho would be better in the second half, just to control if we're up. But I think that this lineup. You want some melon? Okay. Okay, bud. Yeah, so I just think this lineup will give us the chance to be more attack minded, and also I know we don't necessarily have the wing back play, but I think that with Callum and Pulisic in the midfield, along with Lukaku, Havertz, Kovačić, and Kante, I think we would have the ability to get forward and be imposing in the final third. That's all you really want, is to have the opportunity to hurt them once you get there. And with this lineup, I think we can do it, and we can also switch it too. We can switch it real easily and get guys off the bench that can give us some real meaningful minutes. So I don't know. I actually kind of hear the shout from Malang Sarr at left back as well, but I just think that the reason why I chose Alonso is set pieces. We don't have a left-footed set piece taker, and you know how I am about set pieces. That can make the differences in the game, and we need somebody that can deliver. Again, for the same reason, you can probably see Mason Mount there, but I think he needs to see this one from the bench for a little bit.
Couch, the same players in a 4-5-1 would be ideal, with Havertz being a false 9 or a 10 just behind Lukaku. I think Kai Havertz playing off Lukaku, or Lukaku playing off Kai Havertz would be a better suited formation. I think Lukaku is better in the centre rather than playing out to the left. Or maybe if you were to switch it around with Lukaku being on the right.
I think, that could happen too, but I actually think that it's the opposite. I think that Lukaku works better in a tandem than he does as a lone striker. But I agree.
I agree. If you play him as a tandem, then if you'd have him on the right hand side, he'd be better suited because using his left foot.
You're probably right there. I probably messed that up. That's just a selection thing, but you're right.
Sure.
They're both left-footed, but I think Havertz has a little bit more technique and can use it better. That's a good shout. Right. And then also, you might end up seeing that 4-5-1 anyways, just because they're going to have to make us defend. And I don't think that Lukaku is going to be tracking back as much as Havertz. So defensively, we're going to see more 4-5-1 or 5-4-1 than we will, this 4-2-2-2.
Yeah, but it's I don't fault any of your selections. I think the players you've chosen, for me, make a lot of sense. The players out wide, the players in the centre. All right, nice selection. Let's have a look at the next one. The next one is MDT. Let's have a look at MDT's selection. Oh boy, MDT. I think you've made a mistake. If I'm not, I don't know. You can explain it, MDT, because I think you've made a mistake. I think you've put a player in the wrong place. I think. Let's have a look. MDT, have you given me one selection or two?
No, one.
One. Okay. All right. Because I think you've got Kante in the wrong place.
No, I didn't.
You did? Oh, you meant him. You meant him to be in that position.
Yeah.
All right. Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
The reason why I put Kante there because it's Mount or Kante. I was gonna choose.
Okay.
Everything Mount can do defensively, Kante can do, and Kante is a better ball progressor than Mount. The only difference is maybe you can say Mount a finisher or whatever. So if Kante can give me everything Mount can do and more, so it will be better off to have Kante on the pitch than Mount. So that was the thing. I think he will spring a surprise on Pep, like what he did. You remember second half against Tottenham when he brought off Mount and put Kante up behind the. Is it one of the forward behind the striker? Yeah, and also he did it on Brentford as well. Remember Brentford when he took one of the forward line because we were messing about. He put Kante in that position. In 5 minutes, the game changed. I think he will play Kante tomorrow in a different role to give us speed in breaking City down. Because if Kova can do the dribbling, Kante can do the running, that stretch them. Because now we can hit them long with Kai and Lukaku. So this is a weapon he will use.
You see, MDT, for me, it would make sense to have these players in a similar formation. I would go with 4-3-3. I would have Kante and Kova playing an 8 with Jorginho in the 6. And I would have Havertz, Callum and Havertz playing 2 10s behind Lukaku in the 9. So it would be a 4-3-2-1 kind of setup. The thing is with this formation, the beauty about it is this formation can go into a back 5 with with Kante dropping back. It could go into a 4-4-2, a 4-2-2, a 4-3-3, a 4-3-2-1, a 4-3-1-2, a 4-2-3-1. I mean, you can play all those different formations with these players. It just depends on the tactic that Tuchel wants to employ, and this is why the 4-2-2-2 is a good formation. All right, cheers, Mo. Let's have a look at the next one. The next formation we have is Bobby's formation. Bobby has gone for a slightly different formation to you guys. He's gone with the 4-3-3. Let's have a look. So Bobby has a 4-3-3 formation with Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Jorginho and Kovačić. In midfield, Ziyech, Lukaku and Timo Werner in attack. Bobby, explain it to us, mate.
Yeah, my formations, I always leave room for thinking outside the box. I've gone for a relatively known 11, overall 11, and a relatively known sort of back 3 / back 5 type of setup. But my bench matters a lot, where I put people like Mason Mount, Kai Havertz, Malang Sarr, who is hovering around Alonso, and that left wing back type situation for substitutions later on in the game. And indeed, I haven't started with Kante. I think he needs to come on later. I'm not sure of his full fitness. But the Werner Lukaku attack with Ziyech being able to cross balls, Werner creating problems with his movement, and Lukaku with his physicality. Georgie holding in the middle, and ball winners, ball controllers, people that can beat the press on the left and the right in Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Kovačić. I know we're missing our wing backs, James and Chilwell, but I think Aspi and Alonso are experienced, and of course with Thiago Silva and Rudiger centre back too, should provide enough cover for the long range shots against Kepa, which will always be a bit of a weakness. But I think we've got enough there. City haven't been that great in the past 2 or 3 games. I looked at Pep Guardiola and I think he's a bit worried. There was a journalist that asked him some questions which I didn't really like, but I thought she did that to see if she could warn him about what to expect. And I think it unnerved him. I'm not sure he's very comfortable with this game. And I think this could be our chance. He knows it's a must-win for us. And he knows that we're going to come for him. And he's never comfortable with a Tuchel side coming for him like that.
Yeah, I'm see this formation again for me. I think it'd be better if we went with 2 8s, as in Loftus-Cheek and Kovačić as 2 8s, with Georgie sitting back, and I would switch Kovačić and Loftus-Cheek onto the other flanks. So I'd have Kova on the right and Loftus-Cheek on the left.
They'll switch anyway in game.
Yeah, I mean in game, yeah, sure. So that formation and that lineup looks good for me. All right, let's look at the last one. The last one is from VJ. Let's have a look and see what VJ has. Very similar to Couch. Oh, Hockey is here. Hockey, welcome. How are you? All right, so VJ has the following formation: 4-2-2-2. He's got Werner up front with Kai Havertz rather than Lukaku up front with Havertz, as was the selection from Couch. But apart from that, it's the same. VJ, explain your lineup for me, mate.
All right, the goalkeeper is self-explanatory. I think the defense as well. Alonso Trossard is a good option. I think Alonso is a better one in terms of experience, as well as going forward, we would need Alonso there. So if Rudiger can provide a proper cover, I believe Alonso can combine well with Shaw on that left flank. With respect to the midfield, Kovačić and Jorginho, the reason why I didn't put Kante out there is because I want his energy in the second half when they have tight players on the midfield to dominate that midfield position. So maybe Kante comes in the second half and dominates, with his, pace after 45 minutes. That's the reason why I wanted Kovačić to play with Jorginho, because Kovačić will anyways give you that pace in the first half. You'll get enough pace in the first half with Jorginho. In the second half, if you want pace, you can use Kante. But if you use both Kovačić and Kante in the first half, then you'll have only Jorginho, who probably will be ready to sit deep in the midfield and provide a different sort of dimension to the game. That's the reason why I wanted just one of them to play in the second half. You can have the other one play. With respect to the reason why I selected Jorginho is primarily because of to provide support in the defensive transitions. Maybe Alonso, when he moves forward, Rudiger is the one man that is caught on the entire left side. So Jorginho have to maybe drop back to form that defensive setup along with Silva and Rudiger. So that's where I thought Jorginho would do a better job in terms of the defensive coverage. With respect to the 2-2, Pulisic suited me for this game because it's a high intense game. It's more of a it's going to be very quick, and I think Pulisic is good on transitions, and Hudson-Odoi as well. Mount as well wouldn't be a bad option, but I thought, given his current form, maybe Mount has to come in the second half and maybe provide a renewed energy in the second half like Kante. Coming to the front two, Werner and Havertz. The reason why I did that was Havertz probably he still has a effect on Pep Guardiola after the finals. So I think maybe he's probably going to have some sort of an impact on their entire tactics. So definitely Havertz should play for that. Werner, I basically wanted Werner to play this game only to stretch them on the attack, and when they probably should not. Okay, let me put it this way, right? They should never think of a high line because we have Werner there, which means that their attack and the defense is probably going to be stretched, and that's exactly what I want. So that so we have space around to dominate in the midfield position. That's why I wanted Werner in the top, up top. Lukaku, maybe if needed, can be used in the second, half. Again, you could still argue £100 million player, one of the biggest game in the league. He should be present. All that. I think tactically it makes sense from my perspective to have Werner and Havertz for this game. Boogeyman.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised at the omission of Lukaku. For a minute there, I thought he might have done another interview, and that's why you haven't got him on the lineup. Yeah, no. To be fair, Lukaku hasn't been impressive recently, so I am not surprised that he's not. He may not even make the final cut when it comes to our lineup, but we'll see. We'll see. All right, cheers. I agree with you, VJ. We someone with pace in the top two is required. I think Timo Werner is definitely one of the players I want to see in my top two if we are going to go with a 4-2-2 formation. All right, Boogeyman, welcome to the stream. How are you? How you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Good to see you.
Hello to everybody. I sent you my my lineup.
Your lineup. You have. All right.
Just seconds.
All right. All right. I will definitely be checking that. Okay. Big up to you. How are you, my man? How you doing?
Hey, I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Hey, you know what? Hockey also sent me a lineup, so we're gonna have two more lineups. All right. This is gonna take longer than anticipated, lads. So bear with us. These guys, they think they can come in at any time they want, and they send me lineups just like. All right, let's have a look at Boogeyman. All right, Boogeyman, you've gone with a different formation, man. Boogeyman believes we're going to stick with the three at the back. Interesting.
Before I started, Aspi, I think Rudiger will be playing where Aspi is. For some reason, I tabbed Rudiger many times. Rudiger cannot pop out in my. I don't know what. Maybe I'll have zero patience in it. That's what. Anyways.
So you have Aspi. So Rudiger in the right centre back. Am I going to assume Aspi right mid, or is it Callum right mid?
Callum is playing as a wing back.
Well, yeah, sure. Okay, Callum wing back and Alonso the other wing back. All right, so. You have in defense. You've got Saw, Thiago, and Rudiger.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Kante, Kovačić in midfield. Mason Mount and Havertz with Lukaku. All right, Boogie. Let me hear it. Let me get your explanation.
And there's not too much to say. It's just the fact that I feel like against City, we will always go back to our default. Lineup or our default system where the players know how to play it really good, because 4-4-2-2-2, of course it was a problem for Conte the first leg, but in the second leg our first half was not that good, and the second half was even worse because they managed to play us out of the midfield. So I'm thinking with Pep's we will always have to go back to our three. The only key is we should not be defensive, like Tuchel has said today, that with his system last time ended up being too defensive. That's the reason why Manchester City managed to control the game or put pressure at us, or we cannot get out of our chin most of the time. So I just think a formation like this is really attacking minded with a Callum playing a wing back.
Boogie, I think you have got a point that we may play this formation. There's no reason why we won't. The two issues I have with your formation is as follows. You're playing Malang Sarr against Manchester City. Now, Malang Sarr has put in some good performances recently, but he's going to be facing one of the best teams in the world, best attacks in the world. And you also haven't put in a lot of pace up front. You've got Mount, Havertz, and Lukaku. Three guys who are not really renowned for their pace. I would have had at least Timo Werner instead of one of those attackers, just to give us a little bit more pace. What do you think?
I disagree with the fact that we need pace up front. They think we need people that can control the ball. Werner, and I saw Werner the last two games, he seemed to be completely a different player. I saw him dribbling, controlling the ball, doing all those fancy moves, and even dropping the shoulder faster than I'll ever see Werner did it in the past. I've seen a lot of good things, but I just don't think Werner is the key for this game. I want Mount because his work rate around Lukaku will be immense. I want Kai Havertz because he will always find space and find Lukaku. I want Lukaku because how heavy he is and physical he is. If he got a chance to run into those defenders, he probably hurt them. Because the last 2-3 games of Lukaku, of course, he's not scoring. Of course, he's missing chances. But at least he's running. At least he's taking space. At least he's provoking people. So that's the key for Lukaku. If Lukaku keep doing that against that Manchester City defender and that defensive midfielder, it will open space for Havertz and Mount to run into it. And don't forget, if 70% or 80% of N'Golo Kante and Kovacic in the middle, they're just going to run like a chicken with no head. So they're going to really work out that midfield. And the reason why I think Malang Sarr is good enough, he's shown us that he can handle Tottenham, right? We say Tottenham is not a good team. But again, how do we know if Malang Sarr is a Chelsea level if we cannot, with James out, with the other one, Chalobah out, and now Christensen with COVID? How do we know Malang Sarr will stay next year if he cannot play against Manchester City? And I just think, listen, we have nothing to lose. The risk is there to be taken, and it's not really a risk. We don't even have the choice. So Malang Sarr start for me. And he has shown that he deserves it. Like Tuchel himself said, the kid needs to stay hungry and humble. And I think he is that. And I think chance for him to take it today, tomorrow, and again, Manchester City. I think he's ready. I think he's ready anyways.
All right. Podfather, check your DM. Podfather. All right, let's have a look at Jorge's lineup.
Yeah.
Give me a second. Let me bring it up. Interesting. I got questions to ask you, Jorge. To ask you. All right, Jorge has gone for a traditional 4-4-2 lineup. Okay, my question to you is, why do you have Mount here and Pulisic there?
Yes. Okay.
That is my question to you. Go on.
While I was thinking of this lineup, I was thinking of, the possibility of us, changing to a 5-back in the defense and a 4-4-2 in the attack, just the way we've been doing for the past week right now, And now we're losing 2 center backs, so I do not believe Tuchel is going to throw all his center backs into the game at once. And also for my flat fullback, I think we'll be playing a flat fullback, which will be, Alonso, Azpilicueta. They'll be like fullbacks, for the most part of it. Then now I'm playing Mount because, when we swap to a 5-back system, his energy is, tenacity off the ball and everything. Because this is a game that we would be without the ball for, a majority of the game. So it wouldn't be a game where we're having like 60% possession or, 65 as we usually have. We'll probably have about maybe 45, the least, okay? Like the least will have probably 45. We could have 50 as well. But so Mount will be very crucial in this game. I would have loved to have Kante as well in the midfield alongside Jorginho or Kovacic. But of course, Kante is just coming back from COVID and is probably lacking a little bit of match sharpness, and we've got two top midfielders that could actually play, in his stead. So Tuchel wouldn't really like to risk to just push Kante into the fray, because it'll be like, oh, what message am I passing to the other, two midfielders that have been having outstanding game. And if you looked at Kovačić and Jorginho, the previous game, they had like very nice chemistry. They were playing the ball 1-2s, was sweet and lovely. So I think Tuchel would try to build on, that performance for them. And also Callum Hudson-Odoi on the left midfield could also play as a left wing back. Alonso would, just drag in. And I think we saw in the previous game against Spurs, when Sarr was, caught outside, Callum Hudson-Odoi was almost inside the box making challenges. So I feel, defensively, this would be a solid one, because we could, change shape at any point depending on what we need in the game. Now, for my attacking choice, I would have loved to put Werner up there, because, of course, we need that pace. We need that player that would run behind the City line. But I was like, the technicality, what's the point? In the first leg, we had Werner. He couldn't control, couldn't trap any ball, couldn't drag any fouls, couldn't do nothing. So I'm like, okay, what's the point? We might not, necessarily have to put the balls over the back of the defense. We would love to give it to the foot first of all, then put it over the defense, and that would be, Lukaku running. So I think Pulisic can do some more of that. He could drag fouls to himself. At least he could drag two players, to himself, and could actually create, much more space, for us. So that's basically what I saw, and I tried to just put this out.
Yeah, I think Timo Werner is a better shout than Pulisic in that position. And when I say better shout, I mean is more likely to be chosen. I know that Pulisic is probably a better finisher, and probably is a better chance creator. But I think if Timo Werner is fit, he will get the nod ahead of Pulisic in that position. 1 second, lads. All right. Podfather, again, I have sent you the link. It should be in your inbox, so go check that out. All right, let's have a look at our own lineup. I had
Mo, did you get my lineup?
No, did you send me one? Did you send one?
Yes, I sent it. I think every time I send it says preparing. It keeps flashing. Then he said, try again. I sent it. And then he went to drafts. And he said send. When I went to drafts, send it in the drafts. But I don't know what's going on with that.
It's not, I haven't got it.
You ain't. I can see everyone else's is there. But I don't know what's going on.
Yours is not there.
That sounds like boomer era, man.
It's a what?
That sounds like boomer
maybe
era.
CE, I'm with EE. Maybe it's a EE problem or something.
I have no idea.
Yeah. All right. Can I just tell you what I think?
1 second. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I will do this. I will. Tell me what formation did you have in mind?
Yeah, the 3-4-3.
3-4-3. All right, give me a second. All right. 3, 4. All right, tell me who you had in defense.
Yeah, Kepa, of course. Kepa, Rudiger on the left, Silva in the middle, and then Aspi on the right. Back three with and left wing back. I was really thinking about Sarr because he's performed really well lately, but I just think Tuchel will go with Alonso. Maybe Alonso, and on the right, and I went for
right wing back.
Right wing back, I put Pulisic. Yep. And I'm
And
going
in
with
the midfield.
Yeah, I'm going with Conte and Kovačić. Jorginho on the bench today.
In attack.
In attack, I've gone with Lukaku, number 9, and on the left I've gone with Havertz, and on the right Ziyech, to get them both across. I dropped Mount to the bench because he hasn't been performing lately. He needs to have a little bench ride so he can come and do his job, because he hasn't been doing it. He can't cross the ball lately. He's had one good cross in 3 games. So we've got Ziyech who can get the ball over, with the crosses. And I think Havertz and Lukaku can do the job.
All right, Nick, you can see the screen, right? From here, what you do is you go on to save.
Yeah.
And then you give it a name. So let's call it, I don't know, CFC. Call it CFC.
It can be any name, yeah?
Yeah, any name. Then you go save.
That's what I did, yeah.
All right, and now what you do is I think there's a share here. One of these should be share.
You can click on the Twitter option.
That one, yeah. Click on that. And then you just select that.
I see what I didn't do now. Yeah.
All right. So next time that's how you're gonna do it. All right. Yeah. Podfather, welcome to the stream. All right, lads. So let's go ahead and do another one. Let's go ahead and do another one. So we got a squad builder. Now, guys, I'm assuming most of us are going for the 4-2-2-2, correct?
Yeah.
It's enough for me.
Yes. Not for me.
All right. So hold on. All right. Who doesn't want a 4-2-2-2? Who doesn't want one?
I don't.
So Nick Blue, Boogeyman. Who else?
I'm just saying, like, it's not 4-2-2-2. It's just that's how we attack. We're going to defend with 5 at the back.
Yeah.
So, like, when you set up the system, like, it's just whether or not you think how we're gonna attack. That's what we're looking at right now, right?
Yeah, it could go into that during the game. Yes. I can see that. Yeah, that's what you're saying, Enrico. Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna choose our players based on the 4-4-2, for lack of a better word, 4-4-2. Yeah. So we're gonna have Kepa in goal, and then we're gonna have Rudy. Then we're gonna have Silva. And we're gonna have Alonso. Are we gonna have Alonso?
I think we have to.
No Malangso?
I think it's a big game. I think.
All right.
I mean, Alonso was rested midweek, right? Like,
yeah.
That there's a reason for that, and I don't see any reason to start Malangsar. He played well in that position against the Spurs, gave us something that we didn't have there. But at the same time, that's one game. We have to see more. I don't think this is the game to start experimenting.
At all.
You know what? Yeah, sometimes it has come to this position where when Alonso is not playing in our team, we're calling Alonso being rested. We usually we usually are used to saying that he was started out of the team. Yeah,
he was dropped.
No, I was rested. Not dropped.
In the heart of midfield, who are we going for?
Yeah, I'm going Kanti and Kovačić for the pace and the aggression. Jorginho, is great. I love Jorginho, but Kanti for me, Kovačić especially, he does run. He will do Mount's job and something else. He adds extra quality.
I think Kovačić is agreeable for everyone.
For those that want Jorginho, like we're not going to have possession that much. This is going to be counter-attacking and defensive shape, and I don't think that benefits Jorginho. We're going to have to go with a mobile midfield, people that can like actually influence the final third, and that's why I have those two in there. Like you can't play Jorginho in a match where you're not going to be controlling the match.
What do you think about this? Yeah. What do you think about this? Like the previous games we've had, we've seen like Tuchel, making us see how Kovačić and Jorginho actually played together. And what I'm saying is, I would love to have Kante start, but Jorginho off the bench would be pretty much useless in that game. But Kante off the bench would be a massive boost, depending on wherever we are at the moment in the game. It will be a massive.
Take into account his fitness is not 100% as well.
I hear that. That's a good shout for sure. But I'm just saying, if you're thinking about the game from how City are going to approach it and how, like by the time you get to Jorginho, you might even it might be 3 down.
3 down. Two or 3 down. I think it has to be Kante. We need the best player in the world to start tomorrow. That's a guarantee.
My issue with Jorginho is we all screaming that he has back issues, right?
Yeah.
So, man, if he has a back issue against City, we need people that can actually walk, so he can sit on the bench for this time. I don't even see a reason why especially what we saw against Liverpool, Kovačić and Kante, they can beat a lot of presses. I know Jorginho can move the ball fast, but this game, I just think
Kante moves the ball even faster.
No. I mean, like Kante move the ball. Kante move with the ball faster, but Jorginho moved the ball faster, and Jorginho still in the position. That's what I'm trying to say. But again, I think I'm not sure, man. He may start Jorginho tomorrow, but I think it will be a mistake. We should just go with Kovačić.
What do you guys think? What do you guys think about approaching the game like the way we did against Liverpool? Yeah, because obviously everybody expected probably more of a KG game, but we played like a real high line. We pressed them up, and they allowed Azpilicueta and Alonso to get in the game because they didn't have to track back all the way. We were always on like pretty much on the halfway line, and that allowed our fullbacks to get involved. Like, everybody's assuming that we're just going to go and play a defensive game tomorrow, but because it's a must,
I don't think we are.
Because it's a must-win game, I think you go for the goal early, and then maybe you sit back after that. But I think it's very dangerous to say we're just going to play a counter-attack game because they don't have to win. They can take their time. They can pass. They can, run the timeout. A draw is just as good for them, pretty much as a win. So
I think
if you have Alonso and you have Azpilicueta, the only way to really get them in the game offensively is to play really high. Yeah, and so they don't have to, like I said, run back and forth the whole time, and maybe they can get some sort of involvement in the game. But that would mean that you'd have to play all your runners basically. So you'd have to play, I would say Kante, Kovačić, maybe even Pulisic. You'd have to play the guys that are going to run for like 90 minutes. Basically, if you're pressing them from the front.
Yep, that's exactly what I have.
Yeah, but you guys, I think, which team are you guys playing? It's Man City. If you play, Aspi don't have a leg. Alonso cannot run. Pulisic is not a very good defensively. Put them all in and see who is gonna. Who is the workhorse? Kante.
What's the difference though? What are you suggesting? You think Mount's gonna come in and make a big difference?
No, but I'm saying here is, if we go on that, you need the players that can do that. If you have Reece, you have Chilwell, you can press. You can go high up. Okay, against Liverpool, the reason why we were able to do that, look at the defenders, the 3 defenders that were playing. We went man to man. Chalobah is a very fast player. We don't have that in our defense. We have a 37-year-old and Rudiger.
We do, but I don't think Man City are not as quick up front as Liverpool, and we were exposed.
They're tricky. Man City are very quick with the ball.
They are tricky, but it's very different to Salah and Mane continuously running in. I think it's a very different type of proposition. I'm not saying that it's without risk. Every formation we play tomorrow is going to be risky.
I'm just saying that cannot beat Arsenal.
I'm just saying that we have to win. A draw is not good to us. A draw is good to them. So they can literally just pass the ball.
All right. Who are we going to play in the right mid and the left mid? Give me options.
I think Mount has to start this game. Even though he's been poor recently, I think we need his energy in this match.
Exactly.
You guys speak on energy. Anyway, I don't agree. I say I play with Pulisic and Callum Hudson-Odoi because I think that we need to be driving the ball and getting into that final third when we get the opportunities to counter. I don't think that Mason Mount provides that.
I think the same.
This is the game for Mount. Anything you guys can say, Mount starting this game? It's just
because Mount is so useful. It's so useful in this moment because hear me out. Because when we play a two-man midfield and you're playing against City, you'll get overpopulated in the middle because they're really good in the middle. Playing Mount gives you the option to have three.
All right, I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna do something, and you guys tell me what you think. Tell me what you think about this. Let's go there. All right, what do you guys think about this? Because you've got the legs, you've got the stability of the press from Mount. So you got Mount who's able to press, and believe it or not, Mount can do a decent job on the right wing. I've seen him.
I keep thinking about this. Sorry, I just keep thinking about this press. We're not going to be pressing them.
Just one thing. No, but we're going to need to dominate certain portions of the game in the midfield, and I think Mount can contribute to that. Now, the reason why I've gone for for Timo Werner and Callum, rather than Callum and Havertz, is because I want to be able to push them back. I don't want them to be, on the front foot the whole time. I want them to be able to have a counter attack on the back of their minds. And with these two guys in the team, that will be the case with Timo Werner and Callum. Maybe we can go with Pulisic, but this is how I see we should do it. I mean, I've got here Maruf is saying Ziyech to start 100%. I can see Ziyech starting, but I don't think he would start in this formation unless you want to replace Mount with Ziyech.
Yeah, Mount. Yeah.
So that's what I would do. Yeah.
Can I say one thing about the Werner starting? One issue.
Hold on. Let me have one person at a time. Let's go with MDT, and we'll take one person at a time. Go on, MDT.
With this game will be a wrong game for Werner.
Okay.
All City will do, they will just mark Lukaku with two defenders and let Werner. Werner cannot outspace Kai Walker. Not a chance in hell. Right. And Werner cannot control the ball. If we think Werner will outspace them, that the last game, what happened exactly? That's what's gonna happen. Kyle Walker will hunt him, and Lukaku will. They will just kill our forward. The most effective forward for this game is Kai and Lukaku because they hide. Werner will be useless in this game. More his speed will be redundant.
All right, give me alternatives, MDT. Give me alternatives.
That's what I mean. You have to go for Kai. Kai and Lukaku will be the perfect partnership for this game. Their specific game. Because the way City play, they will go man-to-man. And man-to-man with Lukaku will roll their defender. And that will give Kai space to run. But Werner, they will let Werner run. Because they know Kyle Walker can catch him up. He cannot control the ball. They will let him run. They will. They have a fast player.
It's good because with Kai you have much more chances of him, dropping to the midfield to get the ball and actually play to the wings, to the left mid and the right mid, because he's actually good at playing the ball as well. But with Werner, those chances.
I'm just being honest. I think we're going to be on the counter for most of this game, guys.
But
and you want guys that can transition the ball correctly.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, and that's the problem with this team. Who's going to pass the ball?
Exactly.
Like, these are all runners. Like that, nobody can pick a pass from 30 yards, and then we're relying on Lukaku and Kai to be physical up front. But I can easily see them get bullied as well tomorrow. There's no guarantee they're going to bully the.
All right, how about this? We take out Callum, and we go with Ziyech.
Oh yeah, Ziyech should actually be a very good option. But Mount on that left wing.
Now there is no issue with passing the ball about. There's no issue with passing the ball about. We don't.
But then the problem with this is we only have one dribbler, which is Kova.
Yes. So with this we will need Werner in the team, correct?
I think Conte's a dribbler as well.
I think you go with something radical. You put Callum up front with Lukaku. They've had the best link up for me.
That would work. That'd work. Yeah.
In terms of this season for me, and I see Callum as a disruptor. Like nobody's seen him up front. Nobody's played against him and that sort of thing. And just try something for the game, something different.
But okay, with this lineup, it means we can ask a question: where do our goals actually come from? If you put Callum up front, where do the goals come from? Actually, the threat for the goal. Where?
Callum's
Are you kidding me? It has to come
more
from
goals
Lukaku.
than Havertz this season.
It has to come from Lukaku. Right? Like that's not even a question, really. Like if you
In
play
theory, it should.
in any lineup you play, Lukaku's got to be the guy, the goal threat, regardless, right? Like it's not even a question.
My concern here is, given his current form and stuff like that, I'd prefer even Pulisic and Havertz at the top than Lukaku and Havertz.
Pulisic and Havertz.
How many goals has those people scored?
That's a bull. That sounds like bullied. You're gonna get bullied, man.
Exactly.
I think Lukaku and Callum up front, personally.
Yeah, Lukaku and someone. I don't even know right now.
All right. Listen. Do you guys agree with the wingers?
Yeah,
I just think. Can I say? I just think Ziyech there, because the first time we tried this system, it was Ziyech that played that position, right? When we defended, right? And we all were surprised by the fact that he was more disciplined.
Fantastic job. Fantastic job.
To worry about the midfield, and he's just hugging that line all
But
the time.
we were playing Tottenham though, Boogie. We were playing Tottenham at the time.
But they all professional. Like those people, they are professional. If they know the system and they're confident, it doesn't matter who we play. You just take your position, run your line, defend. If you know you have to come and defend, you come and defend. Once in a while you make a mistake, but he has some space, and he has shown that game.
I think Ziyech is a better fit here, because Ziyech is better a winger than a inside forward.
I would like
our best position to attack City is from that position, because Cancelo is one of their best weapon going forward. Is their weakest defender in that part. Cancelo is one of their best weapon going among their wing, their wing players, but is one of their weakest defenders, just like Trent for Liverpool. If you have somebody there that can run, or somebody there that can dribble, it's your better option to attack City from that left side. Because we don't know what Tuchel is gonna do, but we're just debating.
Serious headache.
This is a good comment.
Something completely.
This is a good comment. This is a very good comment. It's true though, isn't it? It's true. It's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
very true.
Just look at the headaches our feeble forwards are causing us. It's just true. It's true. I mean, our forwards, if they were banking goals, we wouldn't be having these issues. I mean, it's true. It's true. Go on, Nick. Let me hear what you got to say.
Yeah, I will say that I like to see Ziyech, because the last couple of games he played, he was all right. Plus he can cross the ball, and he can score, a spectacular goal from nowhere, something out of nothing. We need something like that tomorrow. for me, I still think Mount should be on the bench tomorrow. And then Havertz, like I said, Ziyech, Lukaku, and Havertz. I think they're the best three at the moment. The forwards we have, they're all good. But Werner is not really doing it. Werner can run, but tomorrow he won't be no good. Like you said, someone said, Walker will pace him. So I don't think Tuchel will play Werner for sure.
Question. Sorry.
Yeah.
I would go for either Ziyech, Lukaku, and Havertz, or Ziyech, Werner, Havertz. Ziyech, Lukaku, and Havertz, yes, or Ziyech, Werner, and Lukaku.
I don't think Werner. I think Havertz has to play tomorrow.
But I have a question for Nick.
Come off the bench.
Nick Blue. What exactly the reason why you think Mount should not be starting this game?
Because he's been on bad form, and how many? What can you say? He's not the Mason Mount where last season. He's not on form. It's not just one game; it's a lot of games. Okay,
but the game against Liverpool
should play the Mount be on the bench.
But that game against Liverpool, though, do you remember how much of Mount was with Fabinho all the time, and even Mount was putting pressure on Van Dijk and all those people. So if you take
that's still no form. If
you go back and look that game.
1 minute.
Yeah, sorry, Nick.
How many times does he cross the ball and he doesn't?
I just think
doesn't pass the first defender.
Yeah, but I just think
not one or two games.
Yeah, but
Alonso's got a better call. Can take a better cross in a corner.
Can I just say this? I'm going to say this one more time. I don't think this game is going to be about Chelsea's pressing. Yeah. Man City's probably the best team at counter pressing or breaking the press, anyways. So our ability to get up high on them and press them is not going to be effective in this game.
It's
guaranteed.
But it's not about pressing. It's not about pressing. As the person that makes sure Manchester City does not do a good construction of the ball from the back to all the way in. Because if you look at Mount work rate against Fabinho, even against Van Dijk, there's a ball in the air, but Mount will jump, will do everything. So each coach need that person that do the dirty part of the work. You can sit down and say, okay, he didn't do too much. He didn't. How many shot of goal he has? How many that? But if you just look at what he's doing on the field, you know why the coach put him there. So I think Mount. We can sit down today and say, "Oh, Mount didn't perform or whatever." But listen, this type of game, that's the man for the game. He has to be in it. And I'm pretty sure
I'm a big Mount fan. Can I just say this, Nick?
I'm not Mount fan. I'm not Mount fan.
Hold on. MDT then Nick.
Okay, yes, you guys know I'm a big Mount fan. For me, Mount, I don't have problem with anything that's going on. The only issue I have with him right now is he's losing the ball. That's not him. Even the last game, even against Liverpool, some of the counter attack we had, it was him that lose the ball, and our defense they just one pass straight through our defense. So for me, that's the worry. Against City, I want the Mount that was playing not last season, the one that was not losing the ball. This season, Mount has been losing the ball very easily. That's the thing, Boogie. For me, that's the only issue. I don't mind his form, whatever, because his work rate is wonderful. It's just that losing the ball, for me, that's what I'm worried about in this game. That's about it. If Mount can go back to Mount, we know, even if he doesn't score a goal, but not to lose the ball. Against City, you cannot lose the ball, especially when you're attacking. You cannot, because that's when transition is very dangerous.
MDT, I'll even add to that not only is he losing the ball in passing, getting robbed of the ball in midfield, but goals win games. And Mount has missed some ridiculous chances. I think he's the kind of player that if you put him on the bench, it will make him sit up. He needs to start on the bench tomorrow. There's
facts,
do as much pressing as he can on the field. He's lost form, and that message needs to go to him.
Let me hear from. Hold on. Nick, then Jorge, and then Boogeyman.
Yeah, I just want to say, I always rated Mount when he was playing. When he came through, I could see a Lampard in him, but he's not there right now. He's off form. I love Mount, and one day he will get there, but he's off form. Like Bobby said, he's losing the ball in the middle. His passing hasn't been great, and the crossing is the worst. He's not crossing the ball properly. So that's why I want him to go on the bench, like Bobby said. Then when he comes on, so he knows he can't be benched like every other player. But Tuchel's got to see this and put Ziyech there. We need to win tomorrow. We can't have all form players. Doesn't matter who you are. That's what I'm saying.
All right.
We need
Cheers, Nick.
Ziyech.
Cheers, Nick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so what I wanted to say is, okay, yes, we understand Mount is a little bit off form. And to be honest, the last game, actually, it was like everything he was doing wasn't actually working. But, now you have to compare him, to the kind of players you have in the squad. So you're saying he loses the ball in the midfield, some passes are not going direct. All the other players in the pitch are doing the same exact thing without
Thank you.
Good point.
Yeah,
Good point. Good
when
point.
they do that,
Let the man speak. Let the man speak. Hold on. Let the man speak.
Yeah.
Go on, Jorge. Carry on.
Without giving the work rate Mount brings to the pitch. So at least it doesn't. Ziyech sometimes loses the ball in the midfield. Most times loses the ball, gives passes that doesn't even get through. Anyone you want to play aside Mount also does everything. They all do the same thing. All the wingers. Lukaku as well loses the ball. His passes are so Callum as well. So, but Mount offers more than these other players in the aspect of off the ball. So I think the manager will just be like, okay, he offers me more than everyone else, so I'll just pick him instead. So that's what I just think.
All right, Boogie.
Listen, I should rest my case, but I will just add Mount, like you can see the way he take the fight to the opposition. You can feel it. You can see it. Like when I'm frustrated sitting watching that game, the only person I connect to on that pitch is Mount most of the time. I see it. The way he runs. Someone kick him, he turn around, kick he won't kick it, so the referee can give a red, but he will get back to you. It is a fight. It's just a UFC. They have to fight it out. So Mount is the only player that I connect with. So, and in big game like against Manchester City, I think his work rate comes to it, his physicality comes to it, and his mind game comes to it. You can look at the kid is running, pushing people around, and he lost 2 or 3 passes. So what? Lukaku, Cho, with all the freedom, he cannot curl the ball into the net. Cho, yeah, he run around, does all those things, but what does it do at the end of it? Nothing. Kai, of course, he run around, do all those things, but did you see Kai push someone off the ball before? No, he cannot do it. We need Mount, and Ziyech. How many chances Ziyech misses? He crossed. During the game, he will do those 2 beautiful passes. But other than that, what else do we see? Nothing. So people can sit down here and say Mount lost form. The entire team is having a problem. Mount is trying to figure himself out. It's not Mount the problem. It's the entire team, and Mount is still find a way to give us what we need from him. So I just don't understand all this thing about Mount sitting on the bench. I'm not Mount fan. I'm Kai Havertz fan. But I'll tell you, Mount has to start that game.
I thought this whole time I thought you were a Chelsea fan. Damn, I was mistaken. I was mistaken, man.
My bad. I should not say that, but at least I know for sure that.
Boogie,
I'd like to say something.
you sound like Johnny today.
No.
I'm kind of like.
Wait, Couch. Hold on, Couch. I'll come to you. VJ, then Couch. Go on, VJ.
Yeah, so one thing that I just wanted to say was, with respect to Ziyech, we also have to understand not just that 2 good balls or magical balls that he puts in. His work rate has actually improved in the last 3 games. All right? his work rate has actually improved. He started pressing. He's actually working like how Mount actually should be working. All right. So he is getting better. So it's time to just slack, give that to Ziyech a bit of slack, and then start trying to use him in the big games. Having said that, there is also a different perception that we have to look at. What will Tuchel probably deploy tomorrow? If you ask me, I'm going to say it's going to be Mount. Right, because he is a big game player. He's got that confidence. Like how Boogeyman said, he's going to be on the face of the players, and it's good to have Mason Mount on the pitch. So if you ask me, Mason Mount will be the natural preference from Thomas Tuchel. But yes, we are concerned about the form. We are concerned about the way that he's playing right now, because the kind of standards that he set for himself, he's not living up to it as of now. And that's the kind of that's the only concern that we are actually having. It's got nothing to do with we are comparing him with the other players around. Basically, we know Mason Mount is someone much more better than this. That's a disappointment.
Mason Mount is a fantastic player. He's a fantastic player. But I think to be what's the word here? Utilizing him correctly, we need to give him time to recuperate instead of compounding him with game after game after game. He's going to have bad games. He's going to have a dip in form, but we need to give him time to recuperate. Otherwise, we're going to have more bad games and bigger dips in form. Couch, let me hear your take.
Yeah, I'm typical Libra. I'm right in the middle of all this. I see both sides of it extremely, really, I do. The argument for Mason Mount might be something as simple as set pieces. We need a right-footed set piece taker. We don't have that right now. If that lineup is what we think it is. Aside from that, he does give you the energy and whatnot that you need to compete at this highest level. But again, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say it one more time, and that's it. I don't think that what the skill set that Mason Mount brings to the game is going to be necessarily required in the way we're going to have to play this game to be successful. Pressing and being busy all over the pitch is not going to be the way you're going to win this game. Second to that, I don't think that Mason Mount is undroppable. You guys are making it sound like because nobody else presses from the front as well as he does, that it makes him undroppable. There's more than one way to win a game, and it doesn't necessarily just come from work rate from the top of the pitch, right? So while I agree he does provide that, and it makes it very hard for him to be taken out of the lineup because of how we do play, I don't think that that's the only way you have to play to be successful. So yes, I do think that Havertz could come in and play well. I do think that Ziyech could come in and give us some good minutes. I do think that Pulisic can come in and give us good minutes. And those are the types of things that he doesn't believe in Pulisic. He doesn't think that he can do it. He's like, nah, what are you talking about? But no, I think that these are things that could happen, but it'll just change the way we play. And for me, I think that we're going to be playing in transition. That's where we're going to have to spring teams and beat them. Catch the ball, win the ball, and beat them in transition. The only thing, there's no, we're going to press them high up the pitch and then beat them at their own game. Because first of all, like I said before, Man City's the only team that I know in this league that handle the press. If you press them, you're just opening yourself up for danger. You're opening yourself up for trouble when you try and press them high up the pitch, because they have the ability to not only handle that press, but also break it and then get into the final third and hurt you again. So I don't think we're going to be pressing them high up the pitch.
Arsenal, Manchester City?
I did watch it. Yeah,
they were pressed actually. That's how Arsenal get to them.
I agree. But what happened at the end of the game?
The referee, man.
Okay, referee. Okay.
All right, listen, guys. This is the predicted lineup by the Blue Lounge. Again, there's 10 of us picking this lineup, so we're not going to all agree on it. But it should be something like this. Kepa in goal, Rudiger, Silva, with Alonso and Aspi in a back four. Kante, Jorginho in the heart of midfield. This portion we all agree on. 99.9% of us agree on this. Now, the rest of it is where we are a little bit in disagreement. We think we may see Mount and Ziyech on the wing with Havertz and Lukaku in attack. Again, we're not all in agreement, but this is a potential lineup. Now, Today, like I said to you, we have two things we want to cover. The game is won. Actually, I'm going to give everybody literally 1 minute, and I'll be timing you to give me your anticipated outcome for tomorrow's game. And literally, you have 1 minute because we are going to go on to something else in the next 10 minutes. So, Boogeyman, you're starting first. Give me your predicted scoreline and the anticipated outcome for tomorrow, and your time starts now. All right, Boogeyman just wasted 10 seconds. We go to Hawkeys. Hawkeys, predicted scoreline and outcome. Your time starts now. 1 minute.
Yeah, all right. So basically, for me, I'm positive. I feel regardless of the lineup Tuchel will be putting out there, I think those players will really want to fight. They would really want to fight because it feels like we already had some good, morale based on results. So we do not want any bad results. So I guess all the players out there, they're going to be fighting. And I'm predicting a 2-0 for Chelsea, a 2-0 win for Chelsea. I'm laughing. I'm laughing because I don't really believe it, but I'm like, yeah, let's go. Let's get it.
You're not predicting, you're praying, you're wishing, you're hoping. Yeah, all right. I'll take that. All right, we'll go to VJ. VJ, you got 1 minute and 15 seconds. I nicked 15 seconds from Hockey. Go on, VJ.
Try to minimize that as possible. So I'm going to go for a 2-0 prediction. I really hope Chelsea does really good tomorrow. It's been a 1-0 in the Champions League, and they came back at Stamford Bridge. It was a 1-0. It's always been a 1-0. This time, I believe Chelsea will go on the front and win it a 2-0. And I'm expecting goals from Lukaku and Mason Mount. That will do a lot of confidence for them personally, and also for the team. It will be of great help.
All right, fantastic. 30 seconds. All right, let's go to Bobby. Bobby, you got 1 minute and 45 seconds. Go on, Bobby. Let me hear it.
I don't do score predictions, but I do sort of assessments. I think in the midfield is where we need to get this right. We need to learn from what happened in the last game when we brought Rubin on, a person that could hold the ball, beat the press, dribble, and when he played with Kovačić, it completely confused them. His physicality as well confused them. And that's why I think it's important he starts. I still think Mason must be on the bench. He needs to be on the bench. We don't need him to start this game. He can come on and do a job, but he doesn't need to start. I think if we focus on ourselves, prepare for this game in terms of what we can do, we're going to be all right. It's a myth how great Man City are. They are a good team, but they're not unbeatable, home or away. And we've shown that before. And we
10 seconds warning. Sorry, Bobby, I said 10 seconds warning. All right, cool. Fantastic. And you'll find out why I'm watching you guys in a second. Eric Blue, you have 1 minute. Take it away.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to go with the same lineup as last season, 2-1 win. I think it's important that we, like Bobby was saying, we control the midfield. I think the midfield battle is going to be huge. I think it's a difficult game anyway, no matter what team we use, no matter what lineup it is, it's always tough to play against Man City. But we need to have some kind of control. We can't have a situation where we're being pinned back for most of the match because we'll definitely lose like that. So we definitely have to press, even though, even if you don't want us to press high, we need to press. We need to make sure that we get some kind of possession and we're able to build up, and that will give us the best chance to win the game. So I'll go with a 2-1, more hopeful than realistic, maybe, but for the title race to still exist, I think we need to win. So that's what I'll go with.
Fantastic, Eric. 2-1. MDT, your predicted scoreline and outcome.
Yeah, I'm pretty calm, to be honest. I'm not as worried about this game like some people are. I think we'll win easy. I don't see City scoring against us. It's either that or we draw. Yeah, City are not going to score. City need 4 or 5 chances to score a goal, and they're not going to get that against us. So it all depends on the selection, the lineup, and the players. That's all. I think we'll win 2-0.
All right, fantastic. MDT normally goes with 3-4 nils, so 2-0 is a good one. I'm going to take that. It's a realistic one. All right, let's go to a Couch. Couch, you got a minute. Your time starts now.
I don't think that MDT was a minute. Don't lie. That was like a good 45 seconds. So
it was 45 seconds. Yeah,
exactly. So I got a minute 15, and that starts now. Okay, so
no, it started 15 seconds ago. Come on.
No, I just think that this is going to be the chaos theory. Like I said before, I think we need to just destabilize what Man City wants to do, and if that means just making the game a little bit more chaotic, I think we serve a good chance of like hurting them in the final third. With that said, Bobby did bring up a good point. I forgot the match that Ruben had against them in the first leg. That was impressive. He was dribbling past them. He used his physicality to great effect. That might be something we can use in the second half to change up the game again. I think that Ruben could give us something there. Aside from that, I still think that the difference between this game and the last game is there's the hunter and the hunted. When we beat them 3 times, we were the hunters. When we played them at Stamford Bridge the last time, we were the hunted.
10 seconds warning.
And I think that was the difference. Now we're back in a position where we're the hunters again. And I think that
give me a scoreline. Quick.
I'm going to go 1-0. 1-0 Chelsea. I don't think we scored 2 at Etihad.
1-0. Fantastic. 1-0. We are going to be hunting. We are the hunters. Nick Blue, you got a minute. Your time starts now.
Yeah. I think tomorrow we have to start from the first minute. We have to go at them straight away, press them, destroy them. That's the only way we're going to win. And the other thing is we have to make sure we stop Kevin De Bruyne from long-range shots. We have to make sure. Don't let Kev have one of those to face one of those, because we don't need that. Because as we know, he can score. And as long as we stop De Bruyne, I think we got a great chance. And I think we're going to win 1-0. And I think Mason Mount should be on the bench, like I said. He can come on later on if Ziyech is not performing. But we have to get the boys who are on form on the pitch and go for it. 1-0 win.
Cheers, Nick. Thank you very much. Podfather, give me your predicted scoreline and the outcome. You got 1 minute. Your time starts now.
Tick, tick, tick. Yes. So I never like to bet against my team. So I can never predict a loss for Chelsea. That's one thing. But I'm seeing a 1-1 draw tomorrow. I long for the days when we used to give up maximum 3 chances a game. That's not happening now. 8 chances against Brighton. God knows how many chances against West Ham, and then chances against Brentford. So the defense to me is not in how it was last season, where we could literally strangle teams, where they would almost have no shot on target. Obviously, that happened with Spurs, but they're in the garbage. But I'm thinking that at most it will be. I'm hoping for a win, but I'm expecting a 1-1 draw. I just have to be realistic at this point.
All right, fantastic. You finished in 50 seconds. Brilliant. All right, guys. We predicting a Chelsea win. Naturally, we're a Chelsea fan channel. We're not going to predict anything apart from that. I think if we do win tomorrow, the title race is definitely back on. I think the fact that Man City have to play Chelsea and Liverpool still in their next fixtures, I think if we are able to get a win and Liverpool are able to get a win, then all it takes is for a couple more points to be dropped here and there by City before the end of the year, and Chelsea and Liverpool get their act together. It will be very interesting. The title race will be open. I'm not going to say we'll be winning it. I'm not going to say we'll be handing it over to Man City. I think it will definitely be an interesting conclusion to the season. It will go to the last game. So that is that. Now the second part of the stream, I want to highlight an issue which we spoke about. I think it was yesterday when we discussed the board, we discussed finances, we discussed We've discussed the financial situation within Chelsea Football Club many a time, from many different angles. From the angle of the transfer market, from the angle of the board.
Sorry, Gallagher just scored again for Palace. Sorry.
All right, cheers. Yeah, Gallagher's having a fantastic season. So we've addressed it from various different angles. And one of the panelists here is also a YouTuber and has his own YouTube channel. And he has produced a video, which I haven't seen yet. It's a very long video. It's like half an hour video. And it's premiering now. I think it's actually, let me have a look. Okay, it'll be starting in about a minute. And I'm gonna watch it live on stream. I'm also gonna put the link to the video in the chat. So if anybody wants to go and watch it directly, you're welcome to do so. And I want you guys to consider subscribing to this channel, Sportswire. I think actually don't subscribe. No, don't subscribe to Sportswire. Let's watch this video first. Yeah, if this video is good, then I want you to like it and to subscribe. If his video is bad, I'm not going to let him back on my channel again. So I'm saying it now. That video better be good, because I'm promoting it live on air. I'm promoting his video live on air. We're going to watch it together. We're going to enjoy it. And he has gone into a lot of detail. From what I understand, he has examined a lot of the finances, a lot of the statements that have been released by the club. So let's have a look at it, let's watch it, and let's come to a conclusion after we watch it. Let me just see if it's gone live yet. All right, he's just starting. He's got 1 minute and a little bit to go, but it's buffering on my screen for some reason. All right, it's 1 minute and 15 seconds. So guys, I'm going to put the link to the video. 1 second. I'm going to put the link to the video here. If you want to... sorry, for some reason it's not copying. Control and C. If you want to go watch it direct, the link is there for you to go and watch it direct. If you want to watch it through this channel, you're welcome to do so. We will be discussing it after it finishes. We'll spend like 20 minutes discussing the video after it finishes. So let's enjoy it together.
Guessing I'm in for the soup then.
Say again?
I guess I'm in for the soup then. 20 minutes of continuous questions.
Hey, listen, it's your video, and we're watching it with you. So let's hope it's
the link.
I'm sure it's going to be of a high standard. I'm sure it's going to be of a high standard. Let's have a look.
I think the link is the stream.
Sorry? Oh, have I put my own stream in the link?
Yeah.
Oh, I put up. Yeah, sorry, my bad. Yeah, that's why I'm getting bombarded by people trying to jump in. Alright, here we go. So, let me share this.
Not so much of financial.
All right, enjoy, guys.
Hello all and welcome to Sportswire. This time we've got an interesting topic to talk about. This is more on the Chelsea finances and the business side of things, right? Because this is a football club, of course, and we all love Chelsea as a football club, but we also wanted to know a bit about what the financial situation is of the club. How is the club doing financially? Who are the members who are responsible for these finances? Those are certain things that we'll probably take a look at today. It's going to be really interesting. I'm going to keep it very simple, not so much of financial jargons. It's just going to be simple. I just wanted to give you a total insight of what Chelsea is doing right now, what Chelsea Football Club is doing right now, and how the organization structure is with respect to Chelsea Football Club. One thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about before we get started with the video is a bit of disclaimer. This is something that is wholly based on my assumption based on the information available in the internet. All right. I could be wrong. I could be right for most part of it, which I believe I will be. So this is how we're going to take this video forward, right? We'll just talk about the organization structure first. We'll get into the financial side of things next. And we'll talk about the financial position of the club in the third section of the video. Now, talking about Chelsea Football Club as an organization. Before we get into the organization, I just wanted to give you a bit of jargon that you might have to be aware of, right? You'll have to be aware of certain management jargons, and that's what exactly I'm going to talk to you about. The first thing is subsidiary. What is a subsidiary? In short, it's a company that has a holding company or a parent company. The company is independent, but then all its financials, books, and everything is managed by a different company, which will be a holding or a parent company. Those companies are called subsidiary companies. Now, who are parent companies? They are companies who hold these subsidiary companies. Now we know that. Let's probably talk a bit more in detail with how it is relevant to Chelsea Football Club. First thing that we'll have to realize is that Chelsea Football Club is run by Roman Abramovich. That's the most common thing that we all know, right? But how does this transition happen? Like, how does he relate to Chelsea Football Club? Chelsea is controlled by Chelsea PLC Limited. And that Chelsea PLC Limited is basically a subsidiary of Folkestrom Limited. And the Folkestrom Limited's managing partner is Roman Abramovich. So Chelsea PLC Private Limited is one amongst the group of companies that is under the belt of Folkestrom Limited. Having said that, I was able to surf the internet and probably get the reports of the latest financial background of Folkestrom Limited and Chelsea Football Club. By now, I have a good picture and understanding of what the club does and how is it structured and all of that. And I thought, you know what? Why not share that to you as well? So subsidiary is something that we now talked about. And then we'll talk about amortization. Though it is not something that we'll be immediately looking at, maybe further in the video, we'll be talking about amortization as well. Amortization is nothing but whenever you see a deal which is like 90 million, 80 million, 70 million deal that is happening to sign a player or sell a player, usually the buying club or the selling club will not deal with these sort of huge monies in a single year. So they will plan it in such a way that it is spread across a period. And that period could be the length of the contract of the player as well. That's why whenever there is a contract, let's say, for example, Kepa is on a 72 million transfer for a 6-year deal, which means Chelsea probably will have this option of amortizing and paying the club in 6 installments, right? That's called amortization. Now we know what is an amortization. We know what is subsidiary. We know what is a parent company. We know what is a holding company and all of that. Having said these details, one thing that we have to really understand is that Folkestrom Limited, when they say they own Chelsea Football Club, this is exactly what they mean. Folkestrom Limited has control of not just Chelsea FC PTE Limited. Sorry, I've been pronouncing it as PLC. It's PTE Limited. They have the list of the following companies that they own with respect to Chelsea Football Club. Chelsea FC PLC, Stamford Bridge Projects Limited, Folkestrom Development Limited, the Hotel of Chelsea Limited, Chelsea Football Club Limited, Chelsea Car Parks Limited, Chelsea FC Merchandising Limited, Chelsea FC PTE Limited, Chelsea TV Limited, Chelsea Limited, Chelsea Football Club Women Limited, Under the Bridge Limited, Chelsea Leisure Services Limited, Stamford Bridge Securities Limited. And the nature of business for each of these are different, ranging from being a holding company to a restaurant operation to a dorm to a music venue to a property holding to a car park management system, right? So the nature of business is not the same for all of these companies. But this entire bracket of companies, you can put them as a set, and that set can be called as a group, right? And this group is basically held by Foxtrom Limited, all right? And the class of shareholding is basically ordinary class, where we have three of those being direct and rest of them being indirect. Now, having said that, all these subsidiaries are basically registered in the UK and Wales, except for Chelsea FC Pte Limited, right, which is the footballing side of things. This is basically registered at Singapore, all right? Now we know how Foxtrom Limited is basically controlling Chelsea FC Pte Limited, right? Now let's get into the details as to what basically happens in the organization. What's the hierarchy and all of that? I was able to get this information from the Chelsea website. I'm just going to present my screen and show you guys what I'm exactly talking about in terms of organization hierarchy. It looks nice, looks very detailed. We'll talk about it. There you go. Chelsea FC PLC is the company which owns Chelsea Football Club. Yes, we discussed that. The ultimate parent company of Chelsea FC PLC is Foxtrom Limited, and the ultimate controlling party of Foxtrom Limited is Roman Abramovich. We knew that as well. Now, the board members for Chelsea FC PLC are, chairman would be Bruce Buck. He's been with the club since 2003 after Roman Abramovich took over. The directors are Marina Granovkaia, Guy Lawrence, Eugene Tenenbaum. So I was actually reading through the financial report, and most of it was signed by Eugene Tenenbaum, which also tells me that he is the person who is responsible for the financial operation of the things. Marina Granovkaia is someone who does the footballing side of things as well, in terms of transfer negotiations and all of that. Guy Lawrence is a chief executive. He's not a director, he's a chief executive. And this is another important person when it comes to players and the footballing operation of things. That is David Barnard. Not a lot of people in the Chelsea community actually know who this guy is. But let's just read through it, right? We'll have a clear picture once we read through it. David joined Chelsea in July 2002. He has overall responsibility for the day-to-day administration of the football department, including transfer agreements and player contracts, ensuring compliance with the relevant football authorities. The rest of the information that is given there, I don't think so that is relevant to what we're talking right now. But that particular thing that is highlighted is what really matters, including transfer agreements and player contracts, ensuring compliance with the relevant football authorities. That doesn't mean that he is the person who's signing players, but he is the person who's doing the things at the background. When I say background, when you negotiate with a player, when you negotiate with a club, and you bring in the player, it doesn't end there. There's a lot of other operational activities that goes into every single transfer. And this person, David Barnard, is the one who's taking care of that. He works on the transfer agreements and player contracts and ensuring everything is within the compliance. Now, we know how the board is basically structured, right? We know who are the people on the board. Bruce Buck, the chairman, David Barnard, director of football operations, Marina Granovkaia, another director. We've got Guy Lawrence, who's the chief executive, and Tenenbaum, director of financial operations. Having said all that, this particular report that I was just looking into is the report that was released on 30th June 2021. So 30th June 2021, that's the report of 2020-21 season. There was a lot of interesting things and important things that I went through. Before getting into the nitty-gritties of it, I just wanted to tell you, this particular audit was performed by KPMG LLC. KPMG, they're one amongst the big four firms, and they were the ones who performed the audit for Chelsea during that particular year. Now, we know that as well. Now, let's get into the specifics. Let's get into the details of it. A lot of exciting informations I found when I was reading through the report. Now, for any club, there must be an income stream and an expenditure stream. So for Chelsea Football Club, the income stream is broadly classified into three types. The first one would be matchday revenue. The second one would be broadcasting. The third one is commercial income. We'll get into the details of that and see how much have we generated in terms of incomes to that. But as of now, we'll just know that those are the three income streams for the club. And we talked about income, and the next thing would be expenditures. So the expenditures is something that is most closely associated with match day activities. The match day activities can be including tickets, ticket sales, anything with respect to player travel. All of these are expenditures. All right. Having said that, now we know what is the income and the expenditure of any club by definition. I know you're excited to look at the numbers as well. And this is the number that I was able to get for you guys. So first thing is, in terms of employees, the wages, the social security cost, and the pension cost together, an aggregate number gets you the employees total cost. Okay. So 2020, we paid 287,051,000 for the employees, compared to 2021, where we had to pay 334,387,000. There's a bit of increase there in terms of our expenditure where we had to pay the employees. And apart from that, there is a director's remuneration as well. So all of these directors, they take a part of the, so for their service that they're offering, they will have remuneration, right? And that is as well added to it. So that's in terms of how much we pay to the players. And you would be kind of impressed in the way that the club is run in this aspect of things, where the match-going fans who contribute to the ticketing side of things, you absolutely would love to know what is that you bring in to the club, right? And I was able to get that number as well and compare that against the broadcasting and sponsors. Let me get you the number real quick. These are the numbers. In terms of turnover alone, it's broadly classified into broadcasting, commercial, and match day. And the broadcasting revenue for the year 2021 is 273,606,000, compared to that of 182,546,000 in the previous year, 2020. Now, this means that in terms of broadcasting, there has been an increase in revenue. Now, the commercial revenue. This is something that is associated with the sponsors and how you generate revenue out of the sponsors. So that's your commercial revenue. And the commercial revenue is 155,383,000 in the year 2021, compared to that of 174,867,000. Here is somewhere we've taken a bit of hit. Because, again, these sponsors did not sponsor a lot because they also had this impact during the disease hit. Now, when it comes to match day revenue, this is where we took a major hit, because most of the games, if you remember, during the 2020-21 season, were played in a closed door environment. So the match day revenue in the year 2021 is 7,654,000, compared to that of 54,469,000 in the year 2020. This is almost an 8-fold revenue loss. Just based on only the match day revenue, right? Could be ticket sales, shirt sales. That's the turnover. Apart from that, there are a lot of other incomes as well. Could be due to players' sales. Once we've sold the player, we could have been getting amortized income. So I'm going to read you the strategic report that we have with us, which was actually published by Tenenbaum and was audited by KPMG. So I'm just going to quickly read through it, and you will fairly have an idea as to what the financial situation of the club currently is. The director presents the annual report comprising the strategic report and the director's report and audited financial statements of Forstrom Limited and its subsidiary undertakings for the year ended 30 June 2021. The results for the year, in summary, is that the net loss for the year after taxation was £166.4 million compared to that of a profit of £39.3 million in the year 2020. Now that's a worrying sign. Yes, there was different reasons for it, which we'll quickly explore right now. But then we ended 2020 on a high note, and 2021, we have a loss of £166.4 million. Now, fair review of the business. Profit and loss. The loss for the year before taxation was pounds 166.4 million compared to the profit of 39.3 million pound for the previous year. A loss of revenue caused by the majority of 2020 or 21 matches taking place behind closed doors because of the disease, as well as the decreased profit on player sales and increased player amortization, were the principal reasons for this movement. This year saw an overall increase in the turnover from 411.9 million to 436.6 million, driven by an increase in broadcasting revenue. So in terms of broadcasting revenue, we saw that there was an increase, and that's what they're saying. This was due to the amounts being carry forwarded from 2019-20 season into 2020-21 financial year. So that was also due to the money being carry forwarded to the next year, caused by the late finish of 2019-20 Premier League season in July 2020. That year, they finished the games later, right? So those games was also added in the financial report of this year. That's why you're seeing a bit of increase there. This increase in broadcasting revenue was offset by reductions to the match day and commercial revenue streams caused by the disease, resulting in the majority of the matches in the 2020-21 Premier League season taking place behind closed doors. So they're saying there was an increase in the broadcasting rights, but then that was basically offset. When they say offset, it's basically balanced by the loss that we incurred due to match day revenues, a reduction in the match day revenues. Now they're talking about match day revenues in detail. Match day revenue fell by 46.8 million to 7.7 million compared to the prior year. That's a huge loss. The majority of the games were played behind closed doors, but 3 home games, which is 2 in the league and 1 in the Champions League, took place in front of a reduced capacity crowd. For these behind closed door games, there was a complete loss of ticket and other match revenue. Overall broadcasting revenue increased by 91.1 million to 273.6 million compared to the prior year. So there's a twofold increase here from 91.1 million to 273.6 million. Let's see what that is got to do with it. Like how did that twofold increase come into picture? It goes on to say that the club saw an increase in revenue relating to the UEFA Champions League success within the year, coupled with an increase in the revenue as a result of 10 matches relating to 2019-20 competitions being played at the start of the season of the 2020-21 financial year, as domestic and European broadcast revenue is recognized at the time of the matches that are played. So basically, that's what we talked about, right? Certain matches were postponed by a month or two, and then they had to happen later in the year. And with respect to European competitions, when you get the revenue, as and when you play the matches, that is when you get the revenue. So basically, this is being added to the next year's revenue. That is why whatever revenue that should have been cultivated in the year 2019-20 came into picture of the 2021. The fall in commercial revenue of 19.5 million to 155.4 million was driven by the effects of the closure of non-match day activities for the majority of the year due to lockdown restrictions, decreased preseason revenue, and a decrease in the player loan fee income. Now, we're talking about commercial revenue here, purely commercial revenue. Usually it used to be 155.4 million, but this year it was 19.5 million. A drastic reduce, close to 1/8 reduction in the commercial revenue that we usually get. And the factors that they are attributing that to are, the majority of the year was because of the lockdown. They were not able to do any non-match day events. So non-match day events is pretty much like doing a fan talk, going to the public and talking with the fans, trying to understand their perspective, creating shows, ballrooms, all these public events. All these contribute fundraisers, creating these sort of events. All these together was the contribution for that 155.4 million. But now that has gone down because of the lockdown to 19.5 million. That's a huge loss. Like I told you, it's a 1/8 of the usual revenue that comes through commercial revenue being lost. The impact of the disease on revenue was partially offset by reduced match day costs due to the matches taking place behind closed doors throughout the year. Overall, pre-exceptional operating expenses of 594.1 million have increased by 51.5 million compared with 542.6 million in the previous year. This was principally because of the increased staff cost, 47.3 million, player amortization, 34.5 million, and offset by match savings. So pre-exceptional operating expenses. Operating expenses is nothing but the day-to-day expenses that you do for the club. It could be your Cobham training ground, pitch maintenance, starting from the basics of that to paying your wages for the players, to paying your wages for the staff that are working in the Chelsea setup. Everything comes under operational expense. And they're saying there was an increase in the expenditure operationally. And that expenditure is a partial contribution because of the wage increase, player amortization values getting increased. And that was also something that had an impact due to the match day savings. Now, the football club made a profit on player trading of 27.9 million in the year 2020. Sorry, in this particular year. But in 2020, it made a profit of 142.6 million. Now, that's a huge difference, right? The profit on player trading was 27.9 million in 2021. But in 2020, it was 142.6 million. Let's see the reason. Principally due to the sales of Victor Moses to FC Spartak Moscow and Nathan Allen de Sousa to Atletico Mineiro. In addition, the club realized contingent fees in relation to the number of previous transfers. So they're saying that due to the player, being sold out, that's the reason why we were able to make the profit of 27.9 million compared to that of a 2020 release where we had a huge number of release of players which contributed to 142.6 million. Now, let's slowly get into the other details as well. Again, I'm not going to go into the specifics of every single thing, but then I was quite intrigued to see certain things, and I just wanted to, talk to you guys about it. And there is a paragraph about funding. I thought I should probably read through that for you. Funding is provided by the ultimate controlling party, Mr. R. Abramovic. The group has received an increase in funding of 19.9 million during the last financial year. In 2020, repaid net funding of 4.5 million. All right. So what is he trying to say? What they're trying to say here is The controlling party here is Roman Abramovich. Yeah, that's clear. They're also saying that 19.9 million was the amount of money that Roman pumped into the club only in the year 2021. So that's a lot of money compared to the previous year, 2020, where it was a fund repayment of 4.5 million. So that's on the funding part of things. So usually when we take financials for a club, these are the events that the board is tracking on a monthly basis. They say the financials are reviewed by the board on a monthly basis, and following are the financials: revenue growth, payroll costs, operating result before player trading and amortization, gains or losses on player trading, player equity costs, compliance with EUFA financial fair play regulations. All of these are being tracked on a monthly basis, and that is being reviewed financially as well. So before we get into any further, I just wanted to make something very clear for everyone who's watching. I know not all of them are from the financial background, so I just wanted to keep it very simple, right? When we talk about assets, yes, of course, players are assets, right? And when we talk about assets, here we talk about two types of assets. One is tangible assets and the other one is intangible assets. And players come under intangible assets, right? And tangible assets can be a property. Yeah, things like that. Those are tangible assets. But intangible assets, players come under intangible assets. Now, we'll quickly move into other specifics, which I found very quite interesting. There's, of course, the entire P&L balance sheet. I don't want to get into all the specifics. Neither will that interest you, because, yeah, we look at the club from, a footballing perspective. But it's always nice to know, what the financial situation of the club as well is, right? We talked about the revenue, of course. We talked about the turnover. We talked about, this is another thing that I wanted to bring to your attention. Exceptional items, exceptional administrative expenses. They are nothing but, it could be because of player registrations, it could be because of ongoing any legal matters. But this expense has increased tremendously for Chelsea Football Club this season compared to that of the previous one. I'll give you the numbers. Exceptional administrative expenses in the year consist of impairment of player registrations of 17.9 million. And the amounts payable in relation to ongoing legal matters being 24.1 million. These numbers are huge. When you total both of it, 24.1, 17.9 comes close to 42 million, if I'm doing my math right. But yeah, that's a huge loss. I'll tell you one thing. We did not have even a single penny in the month of in the year 2020 that contributed to this exceptional administrative expenses. So there is a new legal battle that the club is probably fighting, and there's a lot of money that has to be directed to that. Apart from that, there are other details as well in terms of remuneration. Of course, for the employers, there needs to be remunerations. For the auditors, there needs to be remunerations and all that. So yeah, those things as well is happening. Now let's look into the next important thing, right? We're all very fascinated with the players. Let's see how the players are paid, right? So there are three types of player payment: wages and salaries. And this is not just for the players, it could be also for the administrative staffs. Wages and salaries, the first one. The second one is social security cost. And the third one is pension costs. Now let's talk about wages and securities. I'm going to purely talk to you in terms of numbers now. 2021, 292,903,000 is the total money that Chelsea spent on wages and salaries, compared to that of 2020's 252,448,000. Pretty much the same, yes, except for like the 40 million increase this year. And they are attributing this increase in wages and salaries to the new players that were brought in: Kai Havertz, Ben Chilwell, Hakim Ziyech. That's it. So social security costs, 2021, we spent 39,798,000. compared to that of a 32,989,000 in the year 2020. And the pension cost also saw a bit of increase there, 1,686,000 compared to that of 1,614,000. And pension cost is something that systematically increases every single year because the people who gets pension also keep increasing, right? So it's bound to happen. And yes, of course, if there are people who stop receiving pensions also. So in a way, it's a bit balanced, but usually you can expect a bit of increase in pension schemes. Now, the total payment that Chelsea made for its employees in the year 2021 is 334,387,000 compared to that of 287,051,000. There you go. There's a good difference there. 334 is huge than that of a 287. And yeah, again, they're attributing those to new players and new squad members coming in. Of course, they're talking about the taxation next and tangible fixed assets, something related to that as well. Also quoting the investment property values right now, the fixed asset investments. Talked about the subsidiaries, of course. Talking about stocks, debtors, creditors, deferred taxation, all of these. It's good. It's good to look at it. Share capital, perfect. So the final part of it is the merchandising side of things, which is more relevant to the commercial value. So in terms of the commercial value, most of it comes through merchandising. So I'm not going to get into the details in terms of numbers, but then these are the contributing factors in terms of merchandising. One is the Chelsea FC Foundation. We are generating value out of that. The second one is Nike Chelsea Merchandising Limited. We're getting money out of that as well. Chelsea Digital Ventures Limited. We're getting money from that as well. So these are the three areas that we're generating revenue in terms of commercial income. And another important point that I wanted to talk to you guys about is that you might ask me, how does Folkestone get its money? So there you go. The answer is mentioned clearly. Camberley International Investments Limited provides funding to Folkestone Limited and its subsidiaries as required to enable the group to continue as a going concern. All right, so there you go. And towards the end, they're talking about the cash in hand and the cash used in group operations and things like that. That is fundamentally on how the club has invested and what is going on with respect to the club's revenue and all of that. It was really looking good in terms of understanding these details for me, because I'm always interested in that. I thought you guys would also benefit to know the situation in the club rather than jumping the gun and ask for players and transfers and everything. Yes, of course, we as a fan, we have every right to do that, but then we also have to be in a position to actually understand the reality of the situation, reality of the club in financial positions and all of that. I mean, I'll be very honest with you. This 2021 financially has not been really good for Chelsea Football Club. We recorded a loss of 166.4 million compared to that of a 39.3 million profit in the previous year. So now you know the reasons why Chelsea is not making so much of transfer moves in the winter transfer window as much as what we would wanted it to, right? We were talking about Theo Hernandez possibility. We're talking about Lucadini and all these possibilities, right? They're all transfer possibilities. The club is looking at calling or recalling the loan players, probably because of the financial situation of the club. So before we as fans jump the gun and say Chelsea board is not properly functioning, they're not doing any transfer moves, they're not actually contributing to the football, they really don't care about the football, let's just take a step back and try and understand what the financial position of the club currently is in. And let's probably try to support our club during these difficult times in terms of the financial mess. And we'll soon recover from it. And once we recover, I'm pretty sure that Chelsea board will concentrate on increasing the operational profit of the club. that's where I'm going to part ways with you. It's been an interesting discussion. I know it's a bit of monologue, but then I kind of learned a lot with respect to Chelsea Football Club. If you really like the video, please press that like button. Subscribe to the channel. I'll definitely bring in a lot of contents like this for you guys to know not just the footballing side of Chelsea, but also the other side of Chelsea as well. Stay tuned to the channel for the latest updates.
Oh, wow. Wow. I felt like I was back at college, man. Listen, VJ, seriously, that was some good research you done there. Before we discuss it, guys, look, you're not going to get content like that on the massive channels, the 100,000 subscriber channels, the 200,000 subscriber channels. Do you know why? Because they don't put in the work. They don't put in the effort. All right? VJ, I know he has his subscriber count hidden on his channel, but I'll tell you something. VJ is below 1,000 subscribers right now. His channel is below 1,000 subscribers. His content is top quality. You're not going to get this content anywhere else. All right? So do me a favor. The link is in the chat. The link is on the screen. Go click on that link. Go subscribe to his channel. All right? Because regardless if you watch one of his videos or two of his videos a month, those videos that you're going to watch, you're going to learn something. So do us a favor. Do yourself a favor. And go and subscribe to Sportswire. And show him the support and love that he deserves for putting in that effort. VJ, fantastic video, fantastic analysis, great insight. But what I want to ask you, and I'm going to give everybody a chance on the panel, because I'm sure everyone on the panel has questions. But what I want to ask you is, by reading all these reports and getting all this information, the bottom line is Chelsea still financially secure, and are they still able to dabble in the transfer window and bring in the quality of player that we need to continue our development as a team? Because right now, you mentioned in that video Theo Hernandez and players of that nature. For us, that is the caliber that will improve our team, because we have good players. Even Marcos Alonso is a fantastic player, but he is not of the level that we aspire to. Maybe Theo is, maybe he's not. It's a different of opinion. But are we able to spend 60, 70 million to bring in a marquee signing? Or are we going to be restricted moving forward based on the information that you have seen and that you have analyzed? So that's my question to you, VJ.
Honestly, after seeing that particular report, I'd probably take a step back here, because the reason is we could go ahead and aggressively spend in the upcoming windows, but then the sustainability factor of it might not be better for Chelsea Football Club, which I feel is very important when you have a club like this and when you want the success to be more sustainable. So I'd probably give a 1 or 2 year for the club to recover, because it's one difficult year that we've gone through. I haven't looked at the report of anything before 2019, so I'm not sure if it is a trend, but I'm pretty sure it was not the trend, because 2019-20 we ended up on a high note. So we've been doing good, and then suddenly this particular pandemic hit, and we had this issue. Though this issue was not as highlighted as the other clubs, but the other clubs are openly admitting that, we're not able to run the club because of the losses that we're facing. But I think Chelsea did not do that, but also Chelsea had this sort of a loss, and we're looking at that, through the reports. So it requires 1 or 2 years, probably based on the performance, based on how things happen or how things recover from the situation, for us to make any big name signings. Until that, we probably as fans have to support the young players that have been already brought into the squad. We are lucky in the way that we actually moved in the 2019-20 or 2021 season in transfer windows, because most of the players that we've brought in are very young and do have the potential to improve in a year or two. So having said that, these players, if they continue to improve in the next 1 or 2 years, and then we as that happens, we also get to a financially stable position. We can actually move into the transfer window and make other marquee signings in the next year or so. But I kind of find it hard for us to make any significant moves in the transfer window in this particular winter season or the upcoming summer season after seeing this particular report.
So sales is a must before we can start looking at making acquisitions.
Absolutely.
All right. Lads, I want to give you an opportunity to ask questions. So who wants to listen, Vijay, you asked for it, mate. You're gonna get it. So who wants to jump in? Who wants to jump
ready.
in?
My tongue is sharp right now, man. PJ, excellent job, bro. That was comprehensive, and it covered a lot of topics that we cover here and just don't have the backing information to go on. But for me, I think the major thing is, I think beyond like the last couple of years, I think we need to start examining the trends the club have been undertaking the last 5-6 years to get a real overview of what's actually happening at this club, because we've had anomalies here and there, something spikes the overall trend. But I still think that what we're seeing with this club is we have to sell in order to buy. Like that's the overbearing statement. And then the only wild card and X factor that we have is Roman Abramovich. If Roman wants to kick in his millions, he can do that because he's underwritten us before, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I want to get into deeper, but this guy's not relentless over here.
All right, I'm going to bring in Jorge. Jorge wants to make a comment as well. So VJ will get a couch, Jorge, and then we'll give you a chance to respond. Go on, Jorge.
Yeah. So VJ, thanks a lot for that. That was really, really enlightening and really informative. And it actually, showed, loads of people what is actually going behind, because, for example, throughout the whole transfer window, I was like, why is Chelsea moving slow, And I think you guys also, when we're talking about the Lukaku saga, I think I was on the stream when you guys were saying the saga was probably a noise to cover up the financial mess or something. Then I really held on to that because I was like, we're in deep financial mess, and that is probably why we're not signing players. We just don't have the money to go all out. And then we saw reports of the club, scouting players for the summer. So it feels like they've got a plan to stabilize things before the summer, or they're feeling, with the return of, players, fans back into the stadium, the competitions we're back into, so we could recuperate, enough money and enough, funds to actually cover some parts. And the last thing I would say again is about the signings. I think, in the video we saw, So in the video, VJ, we saw that. In the video, VJ, we saw that sometimes you could buy players, instrumentally. We can pay instrumentally or something like that. So I wanted to ask, so what if we just buy players in the summer? And of course, because we know that, of course, we do not know, but hopefully, if COVID doesn't strike again and the fans come back into the stadium, the financial report for the following years will be, positive. So if we can buy players on that level of the instrumental basis, I think we should be able to cover it in the long run, depending on the kind of contract we give them, right?
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that we have to realize is that, of course, the finance for this year doesn't look really great, right? But this is not as bad as that of other clubs that are functioning, right? Every single club was actually hit with this situation. We are actually in a good place when comparison with the other clubs. But what I'm trying to say is that is probably the reason why we are actually slowly moving in the window. But also, to answer your point, yes, that would be a good investment. But we also have to remember this particular investment was also made, in the previous year before, when the COVID struck, and the club did not have enough, data to actually move further because they did not know the situation well. And still now, I don't think so. They have that, data to know or to predict what's going to be the environment in the next 9-10 months. And if I were someone in the board, I would be hesitant to make that sort of an information with the limited data that I have. And I probably think Chelsea would also be, nearing to that sort of a direction, because without that
You don't want to
data
make
backing,
any
it would be
losses.
very difficult to make that sort of a huge loss, because you're just adding up to the loss if in case anything goes wrong, which is like moving into a deep pit that you cannot come back from.
True.
All right, fantastic. Anybody else wants to jump in?
Yeah, I think a great piece of work, by the way, VJ. And I've just subscribed to your channel, and I don't
Thanks,
know
Bobby.
if we've got a Twitter link, but if there's one there, if it's posted, I'll try and make sure that we're hooked up there as well.
Bobby, you will find him in the group. I added VJ to the group today.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, what this confirms really is that you see, Chelsea is a club that's in a very unique position and has been for a long time. The blueprint for long-term sustenance has been put in place in the youth structure. And yet again, the age-old question is revisited to the board. And I hope and I believe with these figures they've published, the fact that they've published these figures tells me that they are going to go into a new phase of planning. And Chelsea's planning going forward has to be a model that integrates the youth, particularly those that they have sent, the academy graduates that they have sent out on loan, with the odd spattering of marquee, if they can get the finances together to get this marquee. This summer, I don't know if we'll need more than one marquee at all, just like we did this last summer, and certainly not as expensive. But what we do need is a plan to repatriate some of these academy players that have performed well. I can already see that the club is lining up Lewis Baker for a sale. That is a very sad thing to me, but it is what it is. I think he's going to be sacrificed, because if they can sell Mark Gurhey and Tamori, and we've long debated about the prices at which those players went, I think Lewis Baker really doesn't stand a chance. But having said that, it's an absolute must that the club repatriates people like Gallagher, people like Armando Broja, and starts to integrate them into the current squad. Unlike many people, I don't think there will be that many sales, not of the grade A players. The kind of players that will go will most definitely be your likes of Barkley. I don't think Saul, unless he really starts ripping off up trees, I don't think the option to buy him will be exploited. And I don't see people like Ruben going anywhere, because they can be part of a future plan. And certainly not the likes of Ziyech, and as many hope, Werner, and so on, because an investment has already been made in these guys, and Tuchel is beginning to make it work. We have to have this model in order to sustain success, in order to buy time for the club to recover from the COVID situation, and indeed the charitable exercises that the club committed itself to during that period. I have to commend the board for their bravery, their transparency in publishing these figures, because I know for sure that I don't even want to talk about the Italians and the Spaniards and what's going on there, but I know for sure that there are some Premier League clubs spending money that perhaps they don't have. And I think in a year or two, that chicken will come back to roost. Not talking about the likes of Newcastle that have had a huge cash injection, but there are one or two making some expenditures now that I'm thinking, I'm not too sure about this. And my eye is very much on people like Aston Villa.
Yeah. Anybody else wants to come in with a comment before I hand back to VJ?
No, sorry. I just want to make a statement. Vijay, thanks for the detailed analysis of this. The thing is, I've been preaching this since I start coming on this channel, because most fans, they don't know the financial state of the club. They just keep screaming, "Sell this player, buy that player." It's like when a kid go into a supermarket telling their parents they want everything on the shelf, because you have to know the financial state of your club. You have to know what they can afford and what they can't. But most fans don't care. These financial reports are released every year, but they don't read it. But they will be on streams, they will be online shouting, "Why is the club?" This has been going on. Chelsea had a chance after we won the Champions League. We signed a lot of young players on low wages. Aspi, they were all on between 20 to 40,000 a year. Very few of them were on 50. So we reduced our wage bill immensely. After 2012, we did. Lampard was on over 30 contract. Only John Terry and Fernando Torres were on big wages. Then that's when we start making profit. But the mistake we made is when we brought in Mourinho the second season. He brought big wage players. Willian was on big money. Hazard, we signed a season before, was on big money before Mourinho. And then Costa was on big money. Fabregas was on big money. The reset happened, then we went and undo it. We signed a lot of young players cheap. So, they were available for cheap or whatever. What did we end up doing? We sold those young players to finance the Costas or whatever, and bring them in, win one league title or two with a League Cup, and then the finance went again overboard. Then what happened again? When we had the transfer ban, a reset happened. When we brought in Lampard, a lot of the wages went down because of the young players that we brought in from the academy. We started making money. But then we end up making 200 million with the sales and wage cuts and everything. What did we do? We went and spent it all. We didn't foresee to say, they said, it's a rainy day, keep something in your savings. We didn't do that. Okay, fans are getting excited. We're shopping. I wasn't excited. Like you guys know, I'm stingy with the club money like it's my money, because I know the financial aspect of it. This is the thing. We're going to have another reset now because COVID has happened. It affects everybody. Inter Milan next season, they have to sell 200 million worth of talent. If not, they will be the next Barcelona. The reason why they sold Lukaku and this guy, what's his name? Hakimi, it was that. They didn't have a choice. And they're going to do it again. Most of Tottenham lose more than 100 million. That's why Conte will scream all he wants. They don't have the money to give him unless they remortgage the club. Okay, Chelsea, we have an owner who is rich, but the club revenue compared to other clubs is not the same. Fans should realize this. Whether we like it or not, we should realize this. And also the solution, for me personally, this will surprise a lot of people. This summer, some of the big players we bought on big wages, they will have to sacrifice 2 or 3 for us to able to sign other players that can help us. They will have to, because when you check the money they earn and the transfer, whatever, the cost on the club, if we want to move forward, we can get rid of few of them and revamp the squad. It will not affect us. Although it's a long-term investment, that's what it is supposed to be. But the long-term financial health of the club is more important right now. It's more important. We can win. We have one of the best coaches in the world. Okay, that's why Tuchel is not complaining. Tuchel knows what's going on. The club has been transparent. It's been transparent. So fans should realize this. When somebody like us, we talk about the academy, it was nothing to do with advocating for academy 11. It's because it's the only way out for Chelsea to be in a financial position that we can be for the future, for the next 10, 15 years. The academy is our only hope right now. If we mismanage this talent, the next talent coming out, they're not as good as these ones. So what are we going to do? Can we compete with the clubs that have been doing dodgy business? We can't. We have the best academy in the world. So why can't we utilize that to get us out of this situation we're in? That's my point. It's nothing to do with anything. It's the finances of the club. Right now, we cannot go and buy Tchouameni, buy this, buy that. We can't.
MDT, the truth is we're going to have to. You know, the repatriation of people like Ampadu, Gallagher, it has to happen. You know, it has to happen. So it's a no-brainer. We're not going to go for these high salaries.
Bobby, I agree with you, but the fans have to embrace it, to say this is for the benefit of the club. But the way they acting is like, you know, it's like the Chelsea is doing it intentionally, not to sign players. It's not intentional. This is the way. We don't have a choice.
Well, the fans need to be educated as to the quality that we've got out on loan. We have the best young players out on loan. That's why it annoys me when we sell them. We have the best. We have enough to bring enough success back to this club and not to have to buy. I really can't think of any position that we will need to buy a marquee player, save for perhaps the CDM role, if we do not have confidence in the players available to convert to that role.
I can understand all those financial situations, but I don't see any club in Europe that does not have money issues. If we need to buy a player, I wouldn't mind them to spend it. If they have to borrow it, they borrow it, they spend it. I just don't see where the problem is. To MDT, you said when Chelsea is spending money, you feel like it is your money. It's not your. I just want to remind you, it's not your money. That's all.
Boogeyman, I think what he's saying is that he wants
it's not my money.
Chelsea financially competitive.
Let me listen to Bobby, please.
So he wants to be Chelsea financially competitive. There's no point going broke and absolutely bankrupt. You see, this thing that Barcelona is doing, they're broke. This is, you know, Barcelona, let's forget the name. Barcelona is punk-ass broke. They are debt upon debt. And
go on.
About, oh, we want to do a deal for Christensen. We want to do a deal for so-and-so. Oh, they've got these players.
Where are they getting that money from, Bobby?
Bobby, we're not
refinancing the debt.
You know, Bobby, let me answer Boogie here. Boogie, Boogie, let me answer this. You are advocating for Chelsea to do what Barcelona is doing. What will end up happening is
I just don't want.
You tell them to borrow money. Barcelona is borrowing more than their revenue right now to sign players. You are saying Chelsea to go borrow money.
Yeah,
you don't care.
Can I tell you something? I don't care. My life experience on this earth is what? 70, 80, 100? I want to see Chelsea successful till I die. Whatever happened after, not my business, man.
There's sometimes that can come at a cost. And I'm sure teams like Leeds United, teams like Nottingham Forest, all these teams that overspent and ended up having to almost languish into non-entity, obscurity, are testimony to that. I don't want Chelsea to go down that road. We don't need to.
Yeah. Can I just ask you something? Bobby, don't forget, Leeds didn't have a Roman Abramovic or Nottingham Forest either. You know, Roman's put his own money into this club how many times?
Exactly.
Millions, billions. And when he has to, he loves the club. As long as we have Roman, we won't have any money issues.
Well,
I'm not saying he's going to go and spend all his money. You know, he knows what he's doing and he knows what the club can do.
He's trying to help sustain.
We have all these young players that are going to come back next year. We're going to, you know, and they'll be back in the squad like Gallagher and Billy Gilmore. We have players, so we don't need to buy too big anyway.
Can I say something before Vijay? Can I say something quick? We all heard about FA was supposed to put some limitation of the salary or the wages of the players next season, or 2 seasons from now, or even the transfer fee, the agent fees, or all those things. I'm pretty sure that's because they feel like the survival of APL teams is a problem at this point because of the expenses and how people manage their team. Because, like Nick Blue was saying, if Abramovic was not putting those money or those extra money into Chelsea, we'd probably be right now bankrupt. So I think we need to turn to FA to at least put some regulation around team in a PL.
Just to yeah,
I'm not sure
so-
the detail about it, but I heard a story like
No,
that.
no,
So
no, you're correct. But the thing is this: we also have to understand that all clubs, they have a backer, they have an owner, they have a person who's able to inject money in. We are lucky because we have a very rich, wealthy, powerful owner who has not only good assets, good finances, but has also got good connections where he can, bail us out should we be in trouble. Hopefully, and right now we're not in trouble.
Yeah, we're not.
The way what VJ talked about, and the data that he laid out didn't tell me that Chelsea is in trouble. It told me that Chelsea recorded losses to a degree that everybody else recorded losses. In fact, maybe we actually recorded less losses in comparison to some other clubs because we have maintained a good financial system for our club. Therefore, the losses that we have incurred as a ratio, as a comparison over the past few years, we're not doing too badly. I think we are still in a good position financially. We are still in a better position financially than a lot of other clubs in the Premier League, and especially outside of the Premier League. People are talking about Barcelona. They're talking about other teams. I saw a comment earlier. Barcelona had. Here we go. Barca had to be broke. Barca had to be broke after spending like they had won the lottery. It's true. They sold Neymar, and they spent 3 times the amount that they made with his sale, and they spent it blindly. Chelsea would not do that. Chelsea will never do that. We have spent money recklessly in certain transactions, but it hasn't been at the same level or at the same degree as other clubs have. Lads, I want to firstly thank everybody who has taken part in the stream, everyone who has been on the panel, and everybody who has been in the chat. And I want to give a special thank you to VJ for his fantastic installment right at the end. That kind of work is work that needs to be commended. I, as a Chelsea fan, commend you, VJ, for putting in the effort and the time to produce content like that. That is a great video, and I think people need to watch it. And I think you should try to produce similar content to that in the future, looking at other aspects that relate to our club. The financial aspect is one. Marketing is another, logistical is another, promotion is another, as well as the most important thing, which is the football. But I think you have the ability to do that and to present it in a very professional manner, where you are able to articulate the information in a very, very professional manner. So thank you for doing that. Guys, I want to...
If I may just intervene. First of all, thank you, Mo, for giving this platform. Of course, I create these videos, but then of course a lot of people watching it is something that is required as well, and you gave that platform. Thank you so much for doing that. I'm not sure how many channels would actually be doing that, but thank you, Mo, for doing that, and thank you for everyone on the comment section and the panelists for staying half an hour in the stream and listening to it. Of course, there's a lot of numbers involved. Not a lot of people would like the finances and numbers involved in it, and I know I was just worried if you guys would get bored at some point. But thank you so much for sticking towards the end and listening to the entire stream. Love that. Thanks, guys.
I'm
Thank you.
happy that you used Yeah, but I'm happy that he himself used the word boring. So it was. Just want to make sure.
Listen. Big up though, because you do a lot of good work like that, man. For real. Like,
No.
You share a lot of videos. That's a big shout, man. For real, that's a big shout, bro.
It
was
a great
boring.
Thank you. I'm gonna thank you here. You try really hard to educate Boogie, boy. He's not gonna listen. He's gonna ask the same question tomorrow again. Mo, you've tried your best.
And Vijay, you've tried. To be honest, thank you guys. You helping him. But tomorrow again, he's gonna ask the same question. Why is Chelsea not signing this? Why is not? So thank you guys very much for helping him as well today.
MDT, good night.
Automatically eliminated.
MDT is a man.
Yes. Guys, listen. Tomorrow, I will not be streaming straight after the game. Yeah, the game is an early kickoff, so I'm thinking we'll stream same time as usual. We'll stream at 7 p.m. It'll give us the time to take in the game, to take in the result. I mean, if we smash them like 4-0. Then I might just stream straight after the game. I might not be able to hold it and just do the stream straight away. But I think upon reflection, it'll be good to stream a couple of hours after. So I'm thinking 7 p.m. Are you guys good with that? 7 p.m. stream tomorrow?
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
That's your usual time. Is good.
My usual time.
Yeah.
Can I remind you something more? You remember it was what game? I can't remember the game, and the entire Chelsea fan base was frustrated, and you waited 24, 48 hours, and you stream, and we're still
shining.
Still have
I know.
a lot of fights. So I'm not sure if it worked, man.
No. I think positive that tomorrow will be a decent result. And listen, Alex, big up to you. Just seeing you in the chat. Big up to you, Alex. Hopefully you'll be on tomorrow. Hopefully you'll be on tomorrow to reflect on the game. So I think 7 o'clock is better because after the game everyone's going to be streaming, and if it's a bad result, everyone's going to be shouting. If it's a good result, everybody's going to be shouting. So let's just keep it calm and collective, and we'll just stream 7 p.m. tomorrow, regardless of the result. Again, big up to Jorge as well. Jorge, great content creator. Big up to Couch Critic, great content creator. Big up to all my panelists, and I hope we will have a good result tomorrow. I hope we win. And I don't just want to win. I want to win in a way where we can say, look, that 1-0 start of the season, it was a fluke. And, the 3 results last season is really what it's all about. And we're going to continue that on tomorrow at 12:30. Big up to everyone. Up the Chelsea. And I'll see you guys tomorrow after the game. Have a good night. Peace out.
Up the Blues.
Up the Blues.